Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday. We had a phenomenal Game 3 last night in the NBA. The Indiana Pacers, they take a 2-1 lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder. History says if you win Game 3 of the NBA Finals, you win 80% of the time. The Pacers win a very entertaining matchup last night over the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll talk about that. The Chiefs, they are back at practice. Kingsley Suamataia met with the media. Also, Kareem Hunt and Andy Reid. We'll play that for you coming up in about 15 minutes. We got a random Royals lineup locked and loaded here in the next 10 minutes or so. We got a lot to get into in today's show. We actually don't have a guest scheduled today. It is just me. It is just you. It is just Rob Brenton taking you up until 5:30 when we hand things off to the Royals pregame show. All right, without further ado, I got to ask you guys two things. And you know what? It would mean a lot to me if you did these two things. Can you listen to the show every day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan? And can you tell one friend to check out the show? I mean, it'd be great if you could tell two friends to check out the show, but you know what? Beggars cannot be choosers. If you could just tell one person to check out the show, you know what? I would be excited about it. This is how I would like to start today's show. Maybe a little bit different than how we usually would. Every year in the NFL, we look for teams that are going to regress. We look for teams that are going to take a step back. Maybe this team made the playoffs. Maybe this team won far more games than people expected. And then the next year when we make our playoff predictions, that is a team that we usually have missing the playoffs. For example, I am not as high on the Washington Commanders as everybody else. I see a team that overachieved last year, a team that had a quarterback play a nearly flawless, perfect rookie year, a team that won a game on a Hail Mary, a team that ended up going to the NFC Championship game shockingly out of nowhere. And the expectation is that the Commanders are going to be a better team. They went out, they got Laramie Tunsil. They went out and they got Deebo Samuel. They are going to be a drastically improved roster. A lot of you are very high on the Commanders. There's a more local and closer example than that. And that team to me is the Denver Broncos. Last year, the Denver Broncos won 10 games. They got blown out in their playoff game. But you know what? I'm sure that the Broncos right now are walking around with their chests kind of puffed out a little bit. They think they have their quarterback in Bo Nix. Again, they won double-digit games last year. Now, mind you, if we go back and we look at the teams that they actually beat, I don't know if you would be that impressed. I mean, last year, the last 4 wins for the Broncos were a Chiefs team that had packed it in and were ready for the postseason. The Indianapolis Colts, a team that was not very good at the end of the year. The Cleveland Browns, a team that picked in the top 5. The Las Vegas Raiders, a team that picked in the top 10. The Atlanta Falcons, another bad team. Last year's Denver Broncos team made the playoffs largely because they beat up on bad opponents. Now, I don't listen to a lot of Denver sports talk, but I'm guessing that there is a feeling of confidence. There is a feeling of progression that the Broncos are feeling and not a feeling of regression. But a lot of us are from the outside looking in and we're thinking, wait, I mean, you guys weren't that good last year. I mean, you guys kind of only made the postseason because you had a favorable schedule. You guys played the top teams in the conference, the top teams in the league, and lost a majority of those games. Can we say that about the Royals? Because last year, the Royals go 12-1 against the Chicago White Sox. They were 500 against everybody else. We now sit here on June 12th. The Royals are a 500 team, a team that has struggled to score basically the entire year. Now, like many of you, I came into this season very optimistic. There was no reason not to. You had Bobby Wood Jr., the second best player in the American League. Vinny Pasquantino was coming back from injury. Salvador Perez had a phenomenal season. The Royals go out and make a move to go get Jonathan India. The pitching was there. The Royals had all the ingredients to take a step forward this season. Now, I'm guessing in Cleveland. I'm guessing in Minnesota. I'm guessing in Chicago. The teams in the division, they're kind of looking at the Royals like, I mean, you guys kind of made the playoffs last year because you beat up on the White Sox. You guys didn't really address some of your core issues, which was an offense that floundered the final 30 games of the season. You didn't really add a lot of punch. And there was a lot of expectations that guys that maybe overperformed in 2024 were also going to overperform in 2025. Well, MJ Melendez can't be as bad as he was last year. Hunter Renfroe can't be as bad as he was last year. We got Reagans and Lugo. Look at all these things we have. Everybody is going to stay the same, and we're going to get contribution from new players. And the Royals have gotten contribution from new players. Some of their other players have either regressed or they're just not having the season that they had a year ago. I make that comparison because it is usually hard to spot the problem within yourself or your own team. And it's very easy to diagnose it when it's somebody else's team. You don't have any emotion wrapped up into it. You guys don't mind telling the Broncos that they're overrated. You guys don't mind telling the Broncos that they're not really that good, that they only made the postseason last year because their schedule was incredibly favorable. And last year, when the Broncos played any team that you thought had a chance to actually do something, they lost last year. They lost to the Chiefs. They lost to Baltimore. They lost to the Chargers that made the postseason both times. They lost to Cincinnati in a game where they could have clinched it on their own, but they lost in overtime. They lost to Seattle, a good team from last year. They lost to Pittsburgh. When the Broncos in 2024 played any team that you think had a pulse, they lost. But they beat up on Carolina. They beat up on New Orleans. They beat up on Vegas. They beat up on Cleveland when they played them. Is that the Royals? I don't ask these questions to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just sitting here and we are very, very close to the halfway point. I mean, we are less than 2 weeks away from the halfway point in the Royals season. And some of the things that the Royals have regressed towards the mean to, I think if we were looking at it through a more objective eye and weren't in the middle of it, I think we could have spotted some of these things with the Royals. They're just an average baseball team. They're not great. They're not bad. There's no reason to give up on this season. But every year in football, we openly discuss these teams. Hey, there's going to be 5 or 6 teams that made the postseason the year before that don't make it. And there's going to be 5 or 6 teams that just come out of nowhere and are far better than you expected them to be. That team last year was the Royals. We weren't expecting the Royals to be a playoff team. They kind of came out of nowhere, kind of like Denver, kind of like the Commanders. Well, this upcoming year, there's going to be a new Denver. There's going to be a new Commanders. Tennessee ends up being better than you think. New England ends up being better than you think. The Giants end up surprising you and end up making the postseason. That's why we love the NFL. That's just a topic that we have consistently in the NFL. We don't really talk about it in baseball. We don't talk about the team that overexceeds their expectations and then the next year, it's not a given that you take a step forward. Actually, you are more likely to take a step back than take a step forward. Things can really only go down for the Commanders from this spot. They exceeded everybody's expectations. Now they're going to the Super Bowl? No, this Commander season probably ends with them winning 7 games and not making the playoffs. We know that in the NFL. I'm not sure if we know that in baseball. And as we have seen almost 50% of the season with this Royals team, they just look like the Broncos from last year. Hey, they beat up on the White Sox last year. They ended up making the playoffs. They exceeded everybody's expectations. There was a lot of hope, a lot of buzz, a lot of optimism here in the city where if you were in Cleveland, if you were in Detroit, if you were in Seattle, you probably would have been able to spot, hey, I don't know if this Royals team is as good as people think that they are. They might be a little bit overrated. They might have just had the right schedule in the right year. And that's a major reason of how the Royals made the postseason last year. Now, you can bounce back. We've seen teams miss the playoffs one year and then come back the next year and shore some things up. Or a team ends up being healthier in the following season than they were in that year. That's sports. It's going to be an ebb and flow. It's going to be a roller coaster, especially for those teams that are in the middle. And I think we've seen enough Royals baseball in 2025 to know the Royals are just kind of one of those teams that just in the middle. You don't really have a lot of consistent 9-win teams. That's kind of hard to be consistently at that point. You kind of ebb and flow. You kind of up and down. And that certainly is what the Royals feel like this season. All right, Rob, you know the rules. If we start the show with the Kansas City Royals, that can only mean one thing. Rob, hit me.
We're where you want to be. Baseball with the Royals. If you want to be.
Carrying today's Random Royals lineup takes us back to the year 2007, where on this date in Royals history, the 2007 Royals actually won a game. They thumped the St. Louis Cardinals. Here is your Royals lineup from that day. Leading off in center field, David DeJesus. At second base, batting second, Mark Grudzielanek.
Mark G.
Batting third, the right fielder, Mark Tien.
Mark Tien would hit fifth on this team.
Yes, he would. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Mike Sweeney. Batting fifth, they list him at first base to start the game, Alex Gordon.
Hey, Alex Gordon at first base. This is a real random lineup that we got here.
Batting sixth, the third baseman, Esteban Herman.
This is where things start to get spooky. We always have that part in the random Royals lineup where things start to get spooky, and this is one of those days.
Batting seventh, the catcher, Jason LaRue.
I remember that name.
Batting eighth, the shortstop, Tony Pena. And batting ninth, in left field, Joey Gathright.
Joey Gathright. Are we counting Joey Gathright as friend of the show? He might be real close to friend of the show.
He's friend adjacent. By the way, the Royals won this day.
Acquaintance of the show.
Because they got 7 strong with 6 strikeouts from Brian Bannister.
Real.
As the Royals beat the Cardinals on this date 8-1 behind a 5-run first inning, which included a Tien triple.
I actually, you know what? I would wear a Brian Bannister jersey right now, actually. A Brian Bannister jersey. So, no, just wanted to point that out to you guys. Brian Bannister. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about the Chiefs. Andy Reid met with the media today. Kingsley Suamataia met with the media today. Kareem Hunt met with the media today. We'll play it for you next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
When it comes to barbecue, my family and I love Smokehouse Barbecue. We always start with their barbecue nachos when we dine in at one of their 3 locations in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence. Then we dive right into their burnt ends, the hickory pit beans, and my favorite, the pulled chicken sandwich. Smokehouse is ready to cater your events as well, whether it's at your house or in one of their banquet rooms. Check them out at smokehousebbq.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830 and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Gain Super Flings are here to take your laundry to the next level.
Talking about Gain Super Flings. Super-sized laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid.
Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
Dominate your fantasy baseball league with Fantasy Baseball Today, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. Join Scott White, Chris Towers, and me, Frank Stanfill, every weekday as we recap every player from every game. We'll get you the latest news, waiver wire adds and drops, trades to make, prospect promotions, and everything else you need to take down your league. Follow and listen to Fantasy Baseball Today on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Be sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, welcome back into the show, 913-586-7965. So let's switch from the Royals. We'll talk a little bit of Chiefs here. The Chiefs are having OTAs. They're actually winding down the offseason portion for this year, and then they'll take a little bit of a break, and then they'll head to St. Joe. I want to give you guys this message again because this message is really important. There's not a lot of good news that happens with your NFL team in the month of June. In fact, there are only really 2 kinds of stories. And 3. 1, a player got hurt. You don't want one of those kind of stories. You know the worst time for your NFL superstar to get hurt? In June. In a non-contact drill, they just fall to the ground and they pop something or tore something or they hurt something working out. You want to stay away from those stories. Number 2, one of your players got caught up in the offseason. You cheer for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know this story all too well. You don't want to just randomly wake up one day and you get a TMZ notification. TMZ should never be talking about your number 1 wide receiver. So that's number 2. Number 1, somebody gets injured. Number 2, somebody gets in trouble. You want to stay away from that. Number 3, it can be good. It can be bad. It's contract news. It's James Cook is not showing up to work. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's TJ Watt is not going to show up to mandatory practice. Again, not the worst thing in the world. But we have reached a point where there's usually not a lot of NFL news. It's usually one of the three things with your NFL team. Somebody got hurt, somebody got in trouble, or it's about the money. This is the only time that you can really ask for a raise as an NFL player. So you should take advantage of that and use this summer to try to get more money in your pocket. The quieter the offseason, the better. I'm turning on ESPN and they're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and not talking about them as they're going to be a team that's making noise and making moves. No, the Bengals are once again being cheap, and they are once again locked in a contract dispute with one of their most important players. Why draft a player in the first round if you don't want to pay him what you're supposed to pay him? They're arguing about guaranteed money as a first-round pick. You know how this goes. These should be the easiest, most simplistic contracts to figure out. It's negotiated already for you. Do what everybody else is doing. Here, sign this. This shouldn't be that hard, but they're the Bengals, and that's why the Bengals are usually in the news in June and July, which normally explains why they have a tough start in August and September, getting off on a good foot. All right, let's hear from Andy Reid first. Andy Reid was asked about Kingsley Suamataia's development in guard. This is what he said.
Yeah, it looked like he learned as he went. It was rough, obviously, early. And expectations are high. You come into a championship caliber team and thrown in there at left tackle. And it's not always the easiest thing for a young guy. So, but I think it was a great experience and I think that'll tell itself out as he goes forward.
So that was Andy Reid as he met with the media talking about Kingsley Suamataia. I mean, this to me is the number one question for the Chiefs this offseason. It is something that we will not have the answer to probably until, I would say, sometime in the middle or late part of September. The Chiefs are taking the gamble, the risk, that even though they have lost Joe Thuney, which was by far and away, in my opinion, their best and most versatile offensive lineman last year, they think the combination of either Josh Simmons plus Kingsley Suamataia or Jalen Moore plus Kingsley Suamataia, they feel like that gives them a better chance, a more stable offensive line than the one that they had last year toward the end of the season. The Chiefs, the right side of their offensive line, it's going to be the same. This wasn't them taking a sledgehammer to their offensive line the way that they did after losing the Super Bowl to Tampa Bay. The right side of their team is locked in. You've paid those guys. And in this scenario, again, you lose Joe Thuney, who is one of the best offensive linemen in the National Football League. So Kingsley Suamataia is just going to be a talking point the entire offseason. You tried him at left tackle. It went miserably for you, where you sat him down in the middle of game number 2. And Kingsley Suamataia, if we go back to a year ago at this time, they loved Kingsley Suamataia. It wasn't even a competition at his position. Well, then they started playing games that actually mattered, and then they put him out there, and then they were like, no, we can't do this. This is something that people don't really want to talk about in the NFL, and I get it. It's not really the sexiest of topics. How do you get better as an offensive lineman during practice when they have made it less and less physical? Like, that's something I think that really matters for Josh Simmons, and why I think it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for him to climb to potentially be that week 1 starter for Kansas City. You're recovering from an injury. And I don't know if training camp is designed to get offensive linemen ready. It's less and less physical. You're not hitting each other. Football isn't one of those things that you can kind of film and study your ways. No, at some point you got to go out there and you got to put the work in on the field. And with how the practices are limited, that's why I think in some ways we've seen a decline in offensive line play, because it has become harder and harder to get offensive linemen ready to play. So I think in some ways, that's what happened to Kingsley Suamataia. Hey, you can run all those drills you want. Eventually, you got to go live. And he went live, and they gave him about 75 snaps of live reps. And they were like, yeah, we can't do this anymore. And they never put him back at left tackle. They have another offensive lineman that is not there right now. Trey Smith, he got hit with the franchise tag. He is not showing up for this part of the offseason. Certainly makes sense as he's trying to get a long-term extension. Andy Reid was asked if he was going to be there. Of course, he gave a long, detailed, very thorough answer.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know that, to be honest. These things are. We'll see where he goes.
I mean, this is just the offseason. If I was advising Trey Smith, you know what I'd be telling him not to do? Not to show up to practice right now. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything personal. I don't think it's personal. I think that it's business. Him showing up at practice right now is a negative. You can get hurt. You can get hurt. We can work out on our own. We'll work out. You know the system. You know the scheme. You do. I mean, it'd be great if you were there, but no, right now our focus is not you being at OTAs and minicamp. Our focus is trying to lock you into a generationally wealthy contract. You're almost there. You let me handle this. This is why I get my 4 or 5% to go get you this money, to go make sure that we lock this up. And you know what's great? I mean, getting $21 million guaranteed over the next 12 months is definitely great. I think I can get you 60. So sit back, hang tight, go down to Miami, work out, go back to Tennessee, work out, do those things. And then when you come back, you know what? We'll have you a brand new shiny contract. So I do not think that Trey Smith will be in for mandatory camp next week. I would not advise Trey Smith to be in attendance for mandatory mini camp next week. It doesn't really make a lot of sense if you are currently negotiating a contract for you to go show up, which right now it is unpaid. They're not getting paid right now. I mean, they get paid great during the season. It's unpaid right now. I'm not showing up to work right now if we ain't got the money side of this. We don't have the business side of this taken care of. And right now they're trying to figure all of that out.
Real quick, I don't know I agree with you for mandatory. For this week, it's organized team activities. Of course Trey Smith's not showing up. You're right. The guy in the franchise tag is not coming to, hey, let's put shorts and a T-shirt on and practice football in Kansas City. That makes sense to me. But he signed his franchise tag. Why would he take potential fines next season when he can come up for this season, to come up here and practice for 3 days? I anticipate he will be at the mandatory portion because he has signed that tag. If nothing else, show up with your agent and use the 3 days to start negotiating. But you signed the tag. We've seen guys, Orlando Brown didn't. We've seen other guys not sign the franchise tag and not show up to work. That's fine. You're under contract, but not under contract. You're kind of in no man's land. I get that world. You signed the tag. You're getting paid. Don't take a fine and miss a mandatory part just for the vibes, I guess.
Now, this part is important. You can actually miss these parts of, well, I guess not. You can get these fines waived. You can't get the fines waived for training camp. So if we were talking about training camp, I would be on your side. Why sign the franchise tag if you were not interested in showing up? You could have simply not signed the franchise tag and just not shown up and then not be penalized because you're not under contract. So if you think that they're going to waive the fines, and certainly no reason to think that they won't, we're talking about $150,000 of maximum fines that it can be, but you think the difference of it could be $40 million on the back end with guaranteed money, yeah, I'm telling my client not to show up. Hey, we're having great communication. You know that he's working out. You know he knows the system. You know he's a great teammate. You obviously think very highly of him enough to give him $21 million guaranteed for this season. He'll be there for training camp, but I'm not going to tell him to show up until he absolutely has to be there. He doesn't absolutely have to be there. And I think it's very important to note, I mean, he's really the only person who's, quote, unexcused is not showing up. I saw a stat last week. Every player on their defense was there. So right now, participation is not a problem with the Chiefs. The guys are showing up. But again, right now, this is the only time in the league that you can ask for a raise. This is the only time to get your money right. So go get your money right. And then when we get to St. Joe, come back, practice, and we'll do all the things that we need to do. Kareem Hunt also met with the media earlier today. He was asked about the running back room. Here's what he said.
Oh, I think we got a, strong group, man. And I'm excited to, work with these guys and, see everybody at, full health and, get off seasons and be able to come out there and, help this team.
That was Kareem Hunt talking about the running back room. You guys know my feelings on the running back room. I would have done a little bit more than what the Chiefs have done. But, I mean, this running back room to me is really predicated on one thing. It is predicated on their belief that Isaiah Pacheco is going to be healthy this season or back to normal this season. That is what their offseason tells me. They didn't take a decent-sized swing in free agency. They got Elijah Mitchell, who missed all of last year. In the draft, they waited until the 200s to select a running back. Brashard Smith, the talented running back out of SMU. I mean, the Chiefs told you, hey, we think we're good at running back. They also brought back Kareem Hunt on a 1-year deal. So, I mean, the Chiefs they don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of resources. They don't have a lot of things tied up into the running back room. I disagree. Rob agrees. You guys know this. But this entire running back room is predicated on, is Isaiah Pacheco going to bounce back to what he was? If you get 2023 Isaiah Pacheco, then I don't know if there's a lot of reasons to be worried for this upcoming year. You got a guy that's going to average 4.6, 4.7 yards per carry, a guy that's going to be a tough runner, a physical runner, a guy that's going to run for 920 yards. You then sprinkle in a little bit of Kareem Hunt in short yardage situations. You get a little bit of Elijah Mitchell if he's healthy, a little bit of Rashard Smith. I mean, they got a decent running back room if Isaiah Pacheco is back normal. It's not one of the better rooms in the league, but they got a decent room. But a lot of their room is really tied into the fact of Isaiah Pacheco bouncing back and being the running back that he was his first 2 seasons in the National Football League. Kareem Hunt was asked about his decision to come back to Kansas City, which seems like a no-brainer to me, but here's what he said.
I feel like it's some unfinished business, and, I love the guys here. I love the, staff and, good people all around.
Yeah, there was never really a question to me or not if Kareem Hunt was going to be back on the team. I mean, he's making a 1-year, $1.5 million deal that guarantees him $850,000. I mean, this is a nothing contract by an NFL standard. This is nothing. We like you. We want you to come back. Do you want to come back? I don't think that there were a lot of teams that were really bursting at the seams to go get Kareem Hunt. I think at this stage in his career, we kind of know what he is. He's not really a home run threat, not really a guy that you think can rip off a 15, 20, 25-yard run. But if it's 3rd and 2, he can get you the 4 yards that you need to extend the drive, to extend the possession and move the chains. That's fine with me. I don't mind this deal at all. Bringing Kareem Hunt back on a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. You gave him $110,000 to sign. You gave him $850,000. I mean, I would say in most scenarios, this is the player that you could very easily just cut. I don't think they're cutting Kareem Hunt, but if you got a productive, proven short yardage back and you got him signed for $1.5 million, we don't really need to spend much time being worried about Kareem Hunt this season. I think he has certainly proven that there's something there, that he still has a little bit of juice left, a little bit of gas left in the tank. I'm happy that the Chiefs brought back Kareem Hunt on the salary that he's on. One more cut that I want to play for you guys. Kingsley Suamataia met with the media, and he was asked what makes him excited for the move over to guard.
Went against one of the best D tackles, and, I got some good words from him after the game. So definitely stuff to take in and just to improve on.
What did he say?
Just said, for playing guard my first time, he said I did pretty good. So, and I've known him growing up. So.
Who was it? Zach Allen?
Yep, Zach Allen. Yep.
So that was Kingsley Suamataia as he met with the media earlier today. Rob, we just talked about it. I think that Kingsley Suamataia is one of the more important members of the Kansas City Chiefs. He is one of the biggest storylines this offseason for the Chiefs. He is not an addition by any means, but if you were talking about storylines, pivotal players, important players heading into the 2025-2026 season, I understand you got your Mahomes and your Kelce's. I'm removing them from this conversation. If we are talking about who's really going to move the needle, who are we going to be talking about? I think Kingsley Suamataia is probably near the top of that list of that other group of storylines.
Maybe this is just, I'm looking at this through the lens of social media, and that's not always a good perception of the world. But are you surprised more people aren't skeptical of Kingsley at guard? It feels like all offseason we've talked about left tackle. Is it going to be Jalen Moore? Is it going to be now Joshua Simmons? Who should start? How important is locking up left tackle? Left tackle this, left tackle that. Left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. It felt like we, from the minute, Nolan Smith and co. humiliated the Chiefs O-line in the postseason and the Super Bowl, to now the entire conversation has been left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. Are you surprised more people aren't talking left guard? It seems like Kingsley Suamataia is getting this air of invincibility from the fans. Hey, he played a game that didn't really count with all backups against the Broncos, and he looked okay. So, yeah, pencil him into left guard. I feel like fans have just taken what Brett Veach said at the Combine, which is, hey, behind the scenes, people are telling me he is a good left guard, and they've taken that and like, yep, check and check. There is absolutely no live action, full tilt snaps that matter that show that Kingsley is going to be a solid left guard. We hope it. There's belief in it, but there's no real evidence. And yet fans seem to believe that it's just plug and play. He's ready to go. Why isn't there more conversation about Kingsley?
Well, I think it's a couple different things. Number one, it's left guard. Like, that's just not really a fun position to be spending a lot of time talking about. Like, I don't know if your average football fan really knows how to evaluate left guard. So I think that's some of it as well. I think if we are also talking about positional value and positional depth, I think that's just a position like they'll figure it out. So I think that's part of it too. I also think it's the in Veach we trust, right? Like, if you believe in Veach we trust, you certainly are going to trust them when it comes to this position. It's guard. Now, I'm with you. I don't think that Kingsley Suamataia is one of the best at his position in the league. I don't really think that you need him to be. Can he be serviceable? Can he be a league average player? I think there's an understanding you're not going to be all pro at all 5 positions on the field. You feel like you're all pro at center. You're very, very good at right guard. At times, you have a very capable right tackle. You spent $21 million to see if Jalen Moore is going to be the answer at left tackle. And if he's not, you spent the first-round pick on Josh Simmons. And we're talking about a second-round draft pick that kind of went through the ups and downs of last season that now you plug and play. So even if Kingsley is perceived to be their worst offensive lineman, he's at left guard. I mean, how bad can you really mess things up, you know?
I get that. And I don't want to come off like I'm anti-in Veach we trust. But if you're a person listening, watching on YouTube, whatever, and you think, well, Kingsley's going to work at guard because of in Veach we trust, that doesn't make sense to me because a year ago in Veach we trust, you were the same people saying he's going to work at left tackle. And they didn't make it to the 3rd game of the season before they realized, nope, he ain't the left tackle.
They didn't make it to the 4th quarter of game 2 before they sat him down.
He showed up in St. Joe, and Kansas City was basically having a party. We found a starting left tackle. We found our franchise guy at pick 64. Can you believe it? Look how great Veach and Reed are. And then he got out there, and it was, oh, God, this is a disaster. So I'm not saying in Veach we trust is not a bad reason to believe his shift to guard will just work. They've pressed a lot of the right buttons. But it seems like the in Veach we trust with Kingsley has already failed once, and yet there's this, again, air of it's just going to work. We trust it.
I guess maybe I just disagree. I don't think that's it. I also think they have such a question mark at left tackle. Worrying about their left guard seems to pale in comparison to that. You don't know if you have left guard or left tackle figured out. I mean, you think you have left tackle figured out, right? But Jalen Moore made, 5 starts last year? He doesn't have a long track record of working. Josh Simmons, he didn't play the second half of the college football season. So I think there is an understanding about left guard, but I think it's much more as the left side of their offensive line. I think people look at the left side, whether it's left tackle, I think it's left guard, I think it's both of those things. I think that Chiefs fans in general look at the left side of their offensive line as a question mark, which they should. Regardless of what happens, they're not going to have a lot of experience on that side. Kingsley doesn't have a lot of starting experience. Whether it's Josh Simmons, he has no starting experience. He's never started in the NFL. Or it's going to be Jalen Moore. You have less than a season of starting experience. So I do think there is a question mark about the left side, but I also think it's kind of one of those things. I mean, they've already told us what they think the possible solution is. We got to see how it plays itself out once the actual games get going. Coming up on the other side, Lee Corso has made an announcement on when his last episode of College Game Day is going to be, and Chris Sims made his list of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is not number 1 on it. We'll tell you who is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-414-3221. 800-414-3221. 800-414-3221.
There's nothing like a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. This Father's Day, your dad deserves a feast fit for the king of the grill, only at Hy-Vee. This Thursday through Sunday, save big on 5-ounce bacon-wrapped sirloin, $3.99 each, 8-ounce New York strip steak, $7.99, or 6-ounce filet mignon for $9.99 each. Really hungry? The Big T-Bone won't disappoint. Stock up for summer and crown your dad king of the grill at the gigantic 4-day steak sale only at Hy-Vee.
This year, I'm making Father's Day brunch for me and my dad. Hy-Vee has everything we need to make Father's Day special. Not only do they have everything for brunch, but they have top-shelf whiskey and scotch, fine wines and craft beers, and they have an expert staff that's ready to help you find the perfect gift at everyday low prices. Plus, you can save 30 cents per gallon on fuel when you purchase select $50 gift cards, and save 20 cents more per gallon with every $15 Hallmark purchase as well. Make this Father's Day memorable only at Hy-Vee.
Men, here's the truth. In the bedroom, good enough isn't really good enough, is it? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if your erectile dysfunction is making intimacy less enjoyable for you and your partner, give us a call today. Because whether your ED only happens sometimes or all the time, it's time to stop good enough and time to start really good. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. Whether it's only mild or moderate, or even if it's severe, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we have a variety of treatments and can even combine protocols, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in a long time. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again for you and your partner. So make an appointment and be done with good enough. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you.
The best moments in life weren't meant to sit in a box, gathering dust in the attic, or stuck on outdated tapes. They're meant to be seen, heard, and shared again and again. That's why Legacy Box exists, to help you preserve and relive your family's history. Imagine being able to text a video of your grandparents to your kids, or share a childhood memory with your siblings in seconds. Legacy Box makes it that easy. Just fill your Legacy Box with all your analog media. Send it to our headquarters in Tennessee, where we digitize everything by hand. And in just a few weeks, we'll send back your originals, digitized, preserved, and stored in the cloud, so you can easily stream, download, and share your memories anytime, anywhere. Join the millions of families that have trusted Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value for 50% off. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
This afternoon, expect rain showers with a slight chance of storms and a high of 80.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday. We are taking you up to 5:30 today as the Royals play their final game of the season against the New York Yankees. They have not won a game yet against the Yankees. They are 0-5. Now, maybe they get one tonight, and we'll see if they get one tonight. But so far, the Yankees have beaten them all 5 times that they have played them. Sometimes a team is just better than you. And you know what? I think we've seen enough of the Royals and the Yankees over the last 2 years to just come to the conclusion that the Yankees are just a little bit better than the Royals. So we'll talk about the World Cup actually coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk about the off the pitch and the on the pitch. You didn't think I knew that, Rob. You didn't know. Look at that. I threw that by you. I saw you were impressed with my soccer knowledge, and that's perfectly fine. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. All right, 2 things that I like to talk to you guys about before we get to the World Cup. Number 1, Lee Corso has made his announcement on what his last game of College Game Day is going to be. So the first ever mascot head was at Ohio State. So, of course, you have to go back to Ohio State, Texas, Ohio State, which is one of the most anticipated early matchups of the year. I mean, they were going to do game day regardless. That's a great game to be at. That is where Lee Corso is going to do his final mascot head. That is going to be his final appearance on the show. I love College Game Day. I love college football. I think it has been very clear for the last couple of years that Lee Corso didn't have the fastball anymore. And I think the relationship between him and Kirk Herbstreit has been what has kept him on that show. I think Herbstreit wanted him to do the show for as long as he would like to do the show. I also just don't know if they need Lee Corso anymore. He can't evaluate or break down college football the same. It is obvious that he is not of great health at this stage in his life, and certainly that makes sense. We're talking about a man who is in his late 80s. I don't know if you should be on television and traveling across the country each and every week to college football stadiums. I also think in a lot of ways they have just simply replaced him. The same way that the mascot head has become iconic and a reason to watch College Game Day. You watch the pick segment because you want to see Lee Corso put on the mascot head. I kind of think that's what Pat McAfee's singing has turned into. He sings a song that the home team gets excited about. Everybody sings along. He has that kind of personality. I'm not saying that he's Lee Corso at all, but I'm saying is I think the show has taken a part at the end to, hey, what's going to happen? What's going to be the pick? What's going to be the result? I think they found a very smooth transition. I really like the team that they have right now on College Game Day. I think Pat McAfee was a great addition to the team. I think Reese Davis is fantastic. You got Kirk Herbstreit, who is as solid on college football as anybody. You have Desmond Howard, who won a Heisman Trophy, and you added Nick Saban, maybe the greatest college football coach of all time. I think they got a really, really strong group. You always get amazing celebrity pickers to be a part of the show. So certainly sad to see Lee Corso go, but it was definitely the right time to do it. And I am happy that he gets to do the mascot head, I believe, 2 more times. I think he's going to Ireland to do the game, and then I think he's doing the Texas-Ohio State game. Certainly a great career, an iconic television career. Special thanks to Lee Corso, whose career is wrapping up on College Game Day. So that's one side of what I want to talk to you guys about. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is it is list season. And I can't lie to you guys. I like list season. I like arguing about things that really don't matter. I chose the right profession to argue about things that really don't matter. Chris Sims went on the Dan Patrick Show, and he gave his top quarterback list for this upcoming season. He did not put Patrick Mahomes at number 1, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's the obvious answer. He's the best quarterback in the league. Not according to Chris Sims. He thinks it is. Well, I'll let him tell you.
number one quarterback in football going into this season is?
Lamar Jackson, number one. I think when you look at it from game-by-game basis, consistency, playing at an extremely high level, Lamar Jackson's done that better than everybody in football, probably over the last 2 years, but especially last year. And listen, I went into this thinking I was probably going to have Josh Allen number one. I really thought that. But as I started to watch film and break it down and go through it, I just went, every game, Lamar Jackson, it's great play from the pocket. It's great decisions. It's versatile throws all over the field. When nothing's there, something good still happens, right? So that's where Lamar Jackson, to me, is separating himself. But it was hard. Joe Burrow could have won the MVP. Josh Allen did win the MVP, and I voted for him, just so you know that, right? And then Mahomes, who's maybe the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life, or certainly in that conversation, okay, he's mastered winning. I understand that. But winning is also not just a quarterback thing. We've got a little too carried away with just giving the quarterback winning all the time. I don't love that. Now, he's mastered that, and he's as clutch as can be, certainly. But I think if you sat and watched film with me, especially last year and even the year before, and we went game by game and we looked at it, you'd go, yeah, Lamar Jackson's playing the position a little bit better right now.
Hold on. Because I hadn't heard the comments. I saw the list. I asked it to be cut. I didn't hear the logic. Did he say that one of the quarterbacks has mastered winning, but we have to look beyond that? To quote Kanye, what do you think I rap for? To push a rap for? Why else am I playing quarterback? You are telling me that I have mastered quite literally the most important skill in professional sports. He said he's mastered winning. But, you got to look at the film a lot more closely. No, I don't, actually. I don't need to look at any more film. I've mastered the most important skill. What skill would you rather have mastered other than winning? He also said he was very clutch. So you're telling me that this guy is clearly a better winner than all of the other quarterbacks, and you trust him more in late game situations than all of these other quarterbacks. I don't really know what else we're supposed to discuss. Now, you were telling me that in a January football game in week 6, you'd rather have Lamar Jackson than Patrick Mahomes. I guess we can disagree. That's perfectly fine. I don't really care that much. If we're then saying in January and early February, there's clearly one answer and you cannot take the other one, I just don't know how you can rank that quarterback ahead of the other one. The thing that blows my mind is he didn't even have Mahomes at 2. He had Mahomes at 4. Lamar 1, Josh Allen 2, Joe Burrow 3. He said that Joe Burrow could have won MVP. They didn't make the playoffs. What is he? How? He could have won MVP? You guys laugh at me because I think running back should win MVP. At least I think the best running back should win it. I'd have gave it to Saquon Barkley last year. I'd have gave it to Cooper Kupp a couple of years ago. I'd have gave it to Christian McCaffrey a couple of years ago, and they went to the Super Bowl. We're now arguing because you put up fantasy football numbers on a team that missed the postseason, you could have won MVP? No, you couldn't have. You weren't anywhere near the NFL MVP. You weren't in the neighborhood. Jaden Daniels is at number 5. Matthew Stafford is at number 6. C.J. Stroud is number 7. Justin Herbert, number 8. Certainly the opposite. He has not mastered winning. Baker Mayfield at 9. Jalen Hurts at 10. Okay. You got it, Chris Sims. You played quarterback at the University of Texas. You played quarterback in the league. I just played a lot of Madden. Played a lot of NCAA 14 with Denard Robinson on the cover. Played a lot of college football 25 with Donovan Edwards on the cover. I don't know what I'm talking about, but he said he mastered winning. And it's like, but he said we're putting too much stock into that. Okay, all right, you got it. Justin Herbert. He's number 8 on this list. Well, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has more Super Bowl wins than Justin Herbert has playoff wins and has played well in both of those games. It's not like you think that he got carried in those 2 Super Bowls. No, he was balling out in both of them. Justin Herbert in the playoffs, 0-2, completes 52% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 60.7 quarterback rating. Yeah, top 8. Top 8 QB in the league. Makes sense to me. I'm on board. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's talk about the World Cup. Are we ready as a city? Are we ready as a community? Is the soccer team ready? We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
FanDuel is the best place to get in on all the Major League Baseball action, from hits, total bases, home runs. They've got a lineup filled with all of your favorite wagers, or pitching if that's more of your thing. FanDuel has a deep bullpen from bets to strikeouts to also shut out innings. Either way, don't get caught looking. Join today. New customers can get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ to step up to the plate. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/KFNZ for your chance to score $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bet. Retires 7 days in receipt. Returns supply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
John, what do you think about these tariffs? What do you think is going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The prices on used cars have suddenly come up because the cost has gone up. And at GiveMeTheVin.com, we're paying more. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com, put in your license plate, and see for yourself. We're paying more today than we were yesterday. Remember, the tariffs have raised the car prices, and we are paying extra. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. That's right, 0% APR for a full 5 years on both Rogue and Pathfinders. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months or even 84 months for just 3.49% APR. Plus, get up to $6,000 rebate on Nissan Frontiers. These are some of the lowest rates we've seen all year. Don't wait, inventory's moving fast. And you'll have a hard time finding any Nissan dealer in Kansas City with a better selection. Go to Reiselman.com for complete details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
The Out of Options Podcast, with new episodes released every Tuesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Very excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday. We actually don't have any guests today. It is just me and you and Rob. All right. Rob, I'm going to pass it to you here. You're going to be my TJ McConnell, Come in, knock down some shots, energy buckets, help us win this segment. Now, I have two questions to ask you that seem very important. I'm watching the news yesterday. I try to stay informed. I wasn't just reading the news on my phone. I was watching the news on the television. I'm Fox 4 alumni. They were talking about the World Cup, and they had a big celebration down at Union Station. There's a countdown, and everybody's getting ready for the World Cup. So you know what I did? I just did a quick Google search because this is a soccer competition, right? And the United States is guaranteed to be in the World Cup because they are the host. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They didn't make the last World Cup, did they? They weren't in the last one.
They made Qatar. They did not make Russia.
Okay. I knew it was one of them. They weren't eligible for. They weren't good enough to be in that one. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me see how they're doing now. Like, turning things around, This is the one you've been telling me they've been building up for. And I always joke for you that the goal of the United States soccer is to just be better than Mexico. They're not trying to be better than any other country. Hey, can we beat Mexico in a friendly on FS1? That's all their goal really is. Rob tells me that's not true. This is the golden era of soccer. They've been building towards this and all the soccer academies. They're trying to be more like the teams over in Europe. That's what you've been telling me. You've been selling me this dream. I didn't go on ESPN and just look at soccer because I'm curious. I want to know how we're doing. I want us to perform. They got beat 4-0 a couple days ago. They haven't beat a European soccer team since 2021? What? We've spent way too much money, way too many resources for them to still be trash at soccer. What's going on with the United States men's soccer program? Wasn't this supposed to be the time that they was going to get stuff going? Last time you told me it was the coach. That the talent was there, but they didn't have the right coach. They fired him, and they still getting smoked. What's going on?
We talk about all-time bag fumbles on this show a lot. This is bad. They have more players playing internationally than at any point in American soccer history, and it is clubs that even the most casual of soccer fan has heard of. They're not playing at League Two, AFC Wimbledon. They got guys playing at Barcelona. They got guys playing at Juventus. They got guys playing at AC Milan. They got guys playing in the Premier League. They got guys everywhere, and they stink. It is a top-to-bottom failure. I thought the failure only went as high as the manager. I was wrong. Everyone who is above him in president, GM, everyone is failing absolutely miserably. And you are currently seeing their most talented player take a sabbatical because he needs some time away. He needs a break from the wear and tear, the rigors of the World Cup. So this is basically an MLS roster, and they're getting thumped every night.
To be fair, that actually sounds like a very American thing to do. To just take a break because you feel overwhelmed when there's great expectation on you and people are counting on you for you to just say, you know what, I'm kind of tired right now. I think I'm going to stop here. That actually sounds like a 20-something-year-old American thing to do. He might be the greatest American. That's your guy, right? Christian Pulisic. I've seen you wear two jerseys. One I bought you was an old Paul Pierce jersey, and the other one, Christian Pulisic. That's supposed to be your man's. So that's number one. From a soccer perspective, it doesn't sound like there's going to be a lot of reasons to be excited about the United States soccer. You're going to go down to Power and Light. You're going to dress up. You're going to dress up like Hulk Hogan in 1987. You're going to be drinking your Pabst Blue Ribbon, banging the 2 beers together, pouring them on yourself like you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, all to watch them lose 1-0 to a country that has fewer people than Tennessee. Doesn't sound like my idea of fun, but hey, that's fun for some of you. Great. Do you think we're ready as a city for the World Cup? Because they're expecting a lot of people to be coming to this thing. We don't know what countries, we don't know what teams, but they're getting the streetcar up and running. They got some initiatives to try to help some businesses downtown. They're trying to figure out the public transportation. We got a year to go until we get there. You don't sound very confident about the soccer portion of this. I don't know how you can feel confident about it. They're not performing very well. Are you hopeful? Are you confident as a city that we'll be able to pull this off? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only 2 cities in America that have more soccer matches next summer than we do. I think we have 6 in total if you count the knockout round games. There's going to be a lot of very important soccer games that are going to be happening here in Kansas City a year from now.
The short answer to your question is, I do not believe the city is ready yet. And I believe the city might be behind schedule on being ready. You mentioned the streetcar. I mean, they're working on it. Is it done? Where's it come to and from? Like, have you driven down Maine? Because it's still an absolute mess. I don't know if you've driven on I-70 anytime recently. That's a mess. I don't know if you've driven on 69 Highway on the Kansas side. That's a mess. 435, perpetually a mess. 35, a mess. So transit, disaster. Carrington, you are a person in media in Kansas City. This is the kind of thing you should know. Hey, where are the watch parties being held? Do you know? Does the city know? How can you get that information out to the people? Hey, how's ticket sales going? They released group hospitality tickets. Those are available. Are they going good? Because they're not selling right now. Now, you're right. If you want to say, hey, we don't know the teams yet, cool. Tickets might be an unfair barometer. But there's a lot of things the city was talking about getting geared up and prepared for when they got announced as a country, 2-3 years ago? They got picked. And I don't think they are ready. Now, they have another 12 months.
Yeah, a long time to get going.
You had, 48 months? You had 36 months? And you're now still questioning things with 12 months to go? They have, 2 sponsors? That was their big announcement yesterday. They got 2 sponsors. Neither one is local, by the way. They got 2 sponsors, Purina and a company called Populous, I believe. Now, maybe Populous is local. I've never heard of that company before, but it does not feel like things are on the up and up with the city being ready for the scale of event that is coming to town in 12 months.
All right. This is just, and that you know far more about this than I do. So I'm willing to defer to you on this. And I've seen a lot of people echo some of those sentiments. I think it is also important to note some of the other cities that have hosted the World Cup. The World Cup in 2022 was in Qatar. Now, I don't know all the cities over there, but I'm assuming our infrastructure in Kansas City, our government, I'm assuming things are a little bit better here than they are over there. I'm just going to go on that assumption that is the case. I think the biggest thing they're going to have to figure out is, A, how are we moving all of these people around? You and I both live in here in Kansas City. It is a car city. We don't really have the public transportation that some of the other major cities have in place that can get you from point A to point B. What is the plan going to be to get all of those people around? So that is something that I'm very, very curious. But, I mean, I will give Kansas City a lot of credit. I mean, it's not like we have a shortage in hosting major sporting events. The World Series has been here before. The AFC Championship game, I mean, so literally the second, third biggest football game that you can have in this country has been in Kansas City multiple times now. They have had multiple parades. They have had the NFL draft. It's certainly not like our city is unprepared in hosting a major sporting event. Now, this is the biggest, the largest sporting event that you can have. But if you're telling me that they got a year to figure out some of the logistics things, I trust their ability to do it. Kathy Nelson and her team, they haven't really let us down before in this area. I don't know why they would stop now on the absolute biggest stage, especially, again, when you look at some of the other cities and countries that have hosted the World Cup before.
You're right. Kansas City is probably better than anywhere in Qatar. I'd also tell you that people look at Qatar as one of the worst run World Cups that we've ever had because of, well, there's a lot of reasons why Qatar was one of the worst run World Cups, but we're not going to delve into all the geopolitics of why that went down. But to answer your question, you're right. They have 12 months left. There's nothing but hope. They had 36 months, Carrington. Why are we looking at the last 12 months as this is the timeline to get it done? What have they been doing for 24 months? We know that they built some sort of committee or group in town in charge of the World Cup. What's that group been doing for 24 months? Hanging out? Having parties? I don't know. Having conversation about construction in town? We are now in the home stretch, and you and I can not really point to anything that says the city is ready. I guess the closest thing is they've now said that if there's an empty storefront downtown, they'll fill it. Okay, it took them 24 months to get that plan in place. We got 12 left. I'm skeptical of them nailing this. I think they can, but I remain skeptical because, and I know the AFC Championship game is huge, and the World Series is very big. I'm not diminishing these events. They do not come close to the scale of the World Cup. It is going to be here for a month. The first game, I believe, next year is 6/11 or 6/12 of 2026, and the final game they have is 7/11 of 26. There is a month, 6 soccer games at Arrowhead that could be cycling 12 different fan bases coming through. I don't know the city is ready for that large-scale event. It is bigger than an AFC title game. It just is.
Text line 913-586-7965. Let us know what you think. We are a year away from the World Cup. I'm largely excited about it. You guys know soccer really isn't my thing, but I plan on trying to go to 1 or 2 games. I don't need to go to the biggest games, but I would like to go out there and see and catch the vibe and kind of see how it is. Rob, soccer is something that you're very passionate about. You're excited about it. You do sound a little bit worried about what the next 12 months are going to look like. That's certainly something that we got to see how the rest of this plays itself out. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll also talk about the NBA Finals. Yesterday's game was magnificent. We'll get to it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, host of the Random Royals lineup on 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball with the Royals.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
So summer is here, and that is barbecue season. Well, we live in Kansas City, so it's barbecue season 24/7, 365, 366 in a leap year. But this is a little bit different. This just isn't you going to Gates Barbecue to get the best barbecue in the world. This is also you grilling for your family. So whether you're throwing a couple hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill or really you getting down on the grill, you got some fish, you got some salmon, you got some seafood going out there, you got some steaks. You want to make sure that you got the right sauces and seasoning. So you know Gates has got you covered. Whether you stop by any of the Area 5 locations or the next time you go to the grocery store, you got to make sure for your cookout, your barbecue, you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates sauce, and you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates seasoning. Or maybe you have no clue how to grill, but you know what you can do? You can swipe your debit card and go buy some of the best barbecue. So stop by any one of the Area 5 locations and pick up those classic Gates menu items, whether it's the beef on bun, heavy on the sauce with the fries and the strawberry pop. Maybe you go get the Gates mix plate. Maybe you go get yourself a half slab of ribs. Maybe you're getting a platter because you're having a watch party as the basketball season is coming to a close. Whatever your barbecue needs are, whether you're throwing something on the grill or simply want something to eat, telling you Gates has you taken care of at any one of your Area 5 locations. Check out the website, gatesbbq.com. They got you taken care of all summer at Gates Barbecue.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
It's graduation season, a time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle, and expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey there, Royals fans. It's Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney.
Have you or your kids experienced a high school coach who wants to make our Kansas City community a better place to live, work, and play? The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation, together with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, are shining a spotlight on 6 impactful coaches in the KC metro area. Nominate a high school coach today at royals.com/coaches with character.
Harris Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
There's a wreck northbound 35 at Highway 69, the 18th Street Expressway. It's been pulled to the shoulder, but it is causing a current backup past 635 Woodland Village and down to Cunningham Heights. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
I hate that you guys are putting me into this position. A lot of people are mentioning some of the things that are happening around the country as maybe a reason that the United States is not going to host the World Cup. Someone on the text line says, you guys are living a pipe dream. Look at what is happening. I understand that you guys can't bring politics into the show, but the World Cup being hosted in the United States is a layered issue. There's no chance that FIFA isn't watching how everything is being handled. I just would like to point out that the last World Cup was in Qatar. They used immigrant slaves to build the stadium. The one before that was in Russia. I don't think they're canceling the World Cup in America because of those things. I would be very, very surprised if that's the case. I'd be stunned, in fact, if it was in the Middle East, the last one. Highly controversial that they decided to do that. They had the event. The event went fine. It went fine. They had the other one in Russia. It went fine. They're going to have the World Cup in Dallas, Texas. I'm going to guess. going to guess they're going to have it in New York City. I'm going to go out on that limb. I understand you guys might not be happy, and I'm not even giving you my opinion, yay or nay. I'm just simply pointing out where they've actually had this event. So if they felt comfortable enough to have it in the Middle East, I think they're going to feel comfortable enough to have it in Kansas City, Missouri. I think they're going to feel comfortable enough to have it in Seattle, Washington, if those are the cities that they have chosen to give the World Cup to. So I'm excited about it. You're certainly allowed to agree or disagree in how you feel. That's perfectly fine. Someone says the ticket prices will plummet, but the World Cup is not leaving. Great. If you were telling me that now it's going to be economically feasible for a lot of people to go to the World Cup, I'm ready to buy my tickets now if that's the case. Right now, I'll go. I'm perfectly fine. I don't know anything about it. I don't know where they're going to – I don't know who's going to be playing in it. I can only probably name like 4 or 5 players. Rob, I'm guessing with where we live, we're not going to be getting the real good teams. Now, you tell me if I'm wrong, Rob. Who do you think we're going to get? Because they're not putting the United States team in Kansas City. They're putting them in like L.A. or New York or Miami or one of those kind of places, right? Like that's what I'm guessing.
I've already prepared mentally. Me and my group text have talked about let's go to a group stage game in Kansas City, and let's also at some point travel to a group stage game to see the United States. I do think they'll get a couple quality teams. I mean, they're hosting a quarterfinal. I mean, they're going to get one of the top 8 teams.
I'm talking about
in
the beginning. I'm talking about when they do the group play. Are we going to get like one of the good teams? Like, are we going to host Brazil? I mean, I'm super fired up if we get a Brazil. If we get an England.
I think it's beyond possible because the tournament went to 48, which that's another.
Oh, that means you telling
problem.
Me because like think of like I'm only thinking it's like the NCAA tournament. You can get like a Duke in your regional. You might get a Kansas in your regional. You also might not get one of those. You know what I mean? You might not get one of those marquee teams. You might be getting Drake in Missouri in your bracket and Texas Tech. I mean, there aren't bad teams to get, but you're not getting one of the teams you really want. I'm talking about the group play, the early stages. So I'm with you. Once they start the tournament and we get like the Elite 8, right? Technically, we get the Elite 8. Yeah, once you get to the Elite 8, we will get a really, really good game at the end.
I don't think it's impossible to believe they could get one marquee team in group play. Now, for your NCAA tournament comparison, imagine if the 1 versus 16 was held in one region, one location, then they leave. I could see a Brazil taking on a Jordan or an Algeria. Or
sign me up for that. I'm gonna be at that game.
They'll play Australia, and it'll just be, it will be very pleasant to watch Brazil throttle that team. But I don't think you're gonna get like, ooh, the group of death has a great England versus Argentina matchup.
That's not gonna be in Kansas City.
That ain't coming here.
Yeah, that's gonna be at MetLife. That's gonna be at the Cowboys Stadium. We're not getting the group of death. You know what I would want? I want us to get like 2 good teams and then 2 sorry teams. That's what I hope. Because then I'm guessing whenever those 2 sorry teams play each other, you can probably go for a good price. You can go. I don't know who the sorry teams are. The United States actually is probably one of those sorry teams, but I don't know enough to tell you. I don't know. Somebody said we should get Brazil because we're giving them the Chiefs. Sign me up for the United States.
I mean, if we're doing
sign
trades,
me up for Brazil coming here.
If we're doing trades, I mean, we just sent the Chiefs to Germany.
No, that's fair. I just wanted to read that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm excited for the World Cup. I'm excited for the World Cup as somebody who doesn't really understand the World Cup. I just know that it's high-level soccer. You guys know my rule. If you're telling me that people are competing at something at a very, very high level, you can get me into it for a very short period of time. I'll watch the Scribs National Spelling Bee. These are the best spellers in the world. I do not understand poker. I don't mind watching the World Series of Poker. You're telling me Doyle Brunson, R.I.P., he's out there giving out the cards. Phil Ivey. I met Phil Ivey one time in Vegas. You're telling me I can watch a Phil Hellmuth? You think I knew all of this? I was an avid ESPN2 watcher back in the day. A little World Series of Poker, a little World's Strongest Man, a little And One mixtape. Yeah, I loved a little ESPN2 back in the day. I'm hip. I'm well-versed.
I mean, aren't all those people just friends with Nick Wright, too? So you're
I never met him through him. Nick had never invited me to none of his poker things. He knows I don't know how to play. I have actually no clue how to play. None. Do you know how to play poker?
I know enough to go into one of those rooms and lose. I don't know enough to, like, I can play with my buddies, but no, I'm not an actual, like, good poker player.
Let me ask you a question. 913-586-7965. This is actually a very important question. If I had to guess, of all the cities in the country that like have professional sports teams that's most like Kansas City, I think Indianapolis is probably number one on the list. We got an NFL team. They got an NFL team. We have a baseball team. They have an NBA team. They don't have a baseball team. We don't have an NBA team. Then you have some of the other sports, you know. They have one of the most famous racetracks in the world. They have the Indy 500. They have a WNBA team. We got an MLS team. I don't think Indianapolis has an MLS team. You know, one of those teams, you know, they seem very, very similar to me. I was thinking this actually earlier today as I was driving into work. We have thrown out the SoFi and Allegiant comparisons pretty frequently to the Chiefs, which makes sense. They're two new stadiums, and they're also in the Chiefs division. So the Chiefs have just seen Allegiant a lot. They've seen SoFi a lot. In fact, they won a Super Bowl in one of these brand new, beautiful stadiums. Rob, what if the goal for the Chiefs is to try to be more like Indianapolis? Indianapolis, all of the events that we are talking about potentially coming to Kansas City, those events already go somewhere. Indianapolis gets the Final Four kind of frequently. They're kind of in the rotation to get the Final Four. Indianapolis is certainly a city that could host a WrestleMania. Indianapolis hosts the NFL Combine every single year. Indianapolis has also hosted the Super Bowl before, kind of recently. Rob, what if that's the goal? Obviously, Kansas City is not going to be Los Angeles or Las Vegas. Like, we're talking about like worldwide destinations. Like, people travel the world to go to Vegas for the weekend or go to LA for 7 days. It's not really how Kansas City or Indianapolis is, but that's not really what your goal is or what you're trying to be. You want to be a hub for major sporting events. That's what Indianapolis is. It is a hub for major sporting events. They will likely get the Super Bowl again at some point. They will certainly get the Final Four again. They are in the rotation for getting the Final Four. It makes a lot of sense for Indianapolis to get the Final Four. Indy's not that different of a sports city than Kansas City. Rob, it just hit me as I was watching the NBA Finals. What if that's really the goal of all of this? We were talking about that there are two roads for the Chiefs. They can either go be Lambeau and put a lot more money into this new stadium and renovate it and try to get it modern, or what if the goal is to just be Indianapolis? Hey, we want to be considered another Midwest hub for a lot of these sporting events that Indianapolis has pretty firmly been in the rotation for to get on a year-in, year-out basis.
It is a fascinating thought. And it's just another extension of what does Chiefs ownership view as the future of the football stadium? Because if they view themselves like Indianapolis, then they are going to Kansas and they are getting a dome because the events reign supreme. I don't know how many concerts run through Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't. I know that based on the Pat McAfee show, Morgan Wallen has been there, so I at least know he went there. He's been to Kansas City too. But you're right, they have the Combine. They're a consistent Final Four location. They're also a consistent Elite Eight location in Lucas Oil. They have the Combine. They've had the Super Bowl. They've done these things. Talk to anyone who's been to the Combine, Nate Taylor, Matt Verderam, whoever. They speak glowingly about Indianapolis hosting that event. They hosted the College Football National Championship 2 years ago. It was the Bama versus Georgia national title, and Georgia beat Bama. That game was at Lucas Oil. They're in the rotation for that every year. They are a hub of stuff outside of just Colts games. And if Clark Hunt and the power structure over at One Arrowhead Drive wants to be a hub for stuff, Indianapolis is the example of what to be, because they do a great job with the events. They get tons of events, and they're also able to host an NFL team the 10 to 12 weeks a year they play. Like, if that's what Clark Hunt wants, it's not a bad business model.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here, and I just did a quick Google search. So Indianapolis has hosted one Super Bowl. They hosted the Super Bowl back in 2012. So, I mean, somewhat recently. No one thinks that Indianapolis is going to be in the rotation. It's not New Orleans. It's not Los Angeles. It's not Vegas. No one thinks that it's that. But they have hosted a Super Bowl somewhat recently. I just did a quick Google search because I was curious. They actually have a multi-year partnership with WWE to ensure that they will get their 3 major events. So they have already hosted the Royal Rumble. They hosted the Royal Rumble actually earlier this year. They hosted it in February. So they hosted the Royal Rumble, and they also have a schedule that they will host SummerSlam and WrestleMania. So Indianapolis, in their football stadium, they're going to host the 3 big wrestling events. They have hosted the Super Bowl before, and I'm going to guess, and I'm just doing a Google search here, I'm going to guess that Indy has hosted the Final Four. In fact, they're hosting the Final Four next year. They're hosting the Final Four next year. Lucas Oil Stadium is going to host it. I also would guess that they probably had the Final Four 3 times in the last 10 years. Like, they are one of the cities that get it. This is the goal. If the Chiefs build a new stadium, this is the goal. Lock in a deal with WWE. We want to host these 3 major events. We want to host WrestleMania. You are not hosting WrestleMania in the current stadium that they have. It's in January, February. You're not having an outdoor wrestling event during that time, but you can in Indianapolis. We want to host SummerSlam. We want to host WrestleMania. Building a new dome stadium gets you those things. It also likely gets you in the rotation for the Final Four because one of the most iconic college basketball programs is right down the street from the Legend. It's what, a 25-minute drive to get to Lawrence? They would absolutely be interested in doing that. A place that loves college basketball, a place that loves sports, that would show out, that hasn't hosted a Final Four since what, 1988? Yeah, I mean, this is the goal. This is what Kansas City is looking to be. They're looking to be Indianapolis if they end up building a new stadium over by the Legends. So that's one thing. This next thing, Rob, I want to talk to you about is I just want to argue with you about a list. So Pro Football Focus, and we'll break this up into 2 parts. Pro Football Focus gave their top 32 for every position in the National Football League. Why don't we break it up from an offensive perspective and a defensive perspective? Now, I'm not here to argue with you about who the best center is and who the best tackle is in the National Football League. I'm not that invested in that level of arguing. But for quarterback, these are who they have as the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. Are you giving this a thumbs up and a thumbs down? Are you fine with this as the top 5 quarterbacks in the league? Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Allen, and Jalen Hurts. Are you fine with that 5?
I'm fine with that 5. I feel like that's the group. We talked about it earlier in the show. Catch the podcast page if you missed it. Chris Sims having Jalen Hurts, as much as him having Mahomes at 4 is wrong, Hurts at 10 is just a wild ride. That's the 5. Now, we can argue about how that 5 shakes out year in and year out. One year, I think some guys are better than others. Like, it happens. Like, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen had incredible individual seasons last year. They had better individual seasons than Patrick Mahomes. If you want them 1 that year, whatever. But that's the 5. So you're not going to catch any beef from me about that list. Actually, good job, Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, I would probably argue the order a little bit. Like Josh Allen, to me, I wouldn't have him behind Burrow and Lamar Jackson, but I don't want to spend our time arguing and debating this guy should be 2, this guy should be 3. The top 4 quarterbacks in the league, I feel like, are pretty solid. I think you kind of have to give Hurts the 5 spot right now. I mean, I don't think he's the 5th best quarterback in the league. I actually think that's Jared Goff. I would put Jared Goff at 5, and I move Jalen Hurts down. But, I mean, if you were saying who is the best quarterback outside of the Big 4, if you're telling me that player is Jalen Hurts, I won't fight you a lot. I do think that for that 5th best quarterback in the league, I mean, there's probably 6 quarterbacks that have a legitimate argument of being the 5th best quarterback in the league. It just feels like right now there's a pretty decent-sized gap between those 4 QBs that I mentioned and then those other guys. I also think it's very important to note all 4 of those guys that we're talking about are all in the AFC. And that's why if you're a team like Pittsburgh and you're going to get a 41-year-old quarterback, wait, hold on. You're telling me the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL, 2 of them are in your division, and all of them are under the age of 30, and my plan of combating that is getting a 41-year-old quarterback? I just don't know if that is a very, very good plan. All right, let's move now to running back, because I know that running back is your favorite. If there's one thing I know you like to do, it's to discuss and break down and talk about running backs. Here is who they have as the top 5 running backs in the National Football League. Number 1, Derrick Henry. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. Number 3, Bijan Robinson. Number 4, Jahmyr Gibbs. And number 5, Josh Jacobs. Do you agree? Are those the top 5 running backs in the National Football League?
Yeah, I think that one's pretty good too.
I don't know what to do with Christian McCaffrey, because I would put a healthy Christian McCaffrey in my top 5.
But he's not. I mean, he was. If they are, this is why the point I was going to make, and I apologize for interrupting.
You're good.
Is that if they are basing this on what happened in 2024, I have no problem with that list, because Christian McCaffrey was barely on the football field last year. So if you are saying, hey, he didn't play, so he can't be one of the best 5 running backs in the league because you just don't know what he is, because he was first team all sweats and a t-shirt last year, I am open to that conversation, and I will listen, and then I will accept that is the list. But I don't know that you can have Christian McCaffrey in your top 5.
Yeah, maybe I'm looking at this wrong, where if you told me heading into this season, would I rather have Josh Jacobs or Christian McCaffrey? I think I'd rather have Christian McCaffrey. Now, I understand there's a big caveat when it comes to injury. Other than that, I mean, this is probably the list. I would put Saquon at number 1. I'd put Derrick Henry at number 2. I'd put Jahmyr Gibbs at 3, Bijan at 4 because of his versatility, and then I'd put Christian McCaffrey at 5. So I'd shake up the order just a little bit different than what they currently have it at Pro Football Focus. All right, let's go to wide receiver. These are the top 5 wide receivers that Pro Football Focus has. Number 1, A.J. Brown. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. Number 3, Jamar Chase. Number 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 5, Puka Nacua. Those are the 5 best wide receivers in the league. Now, I'm not here to tell you that Puka Nacua is not a dog. He is absolutely fantastic. If there's a system wide receiver, I mean, isn't he the one that would be he'd be the one smiling at you in the picture? Puka Nacua is absolutely a beneficiary of Sean McVay and that system and all of the targets and workload that he gets. I don't got Puka Nacua in my top 5. I don't. I wouldn't have Puka Nacua in my top 5. In fact, I'm not 100% sure that he'd be in my top 10 if I was like really sitting here making the list. I would have Justin Jefferson at number 1, Jamar Chase at number 2. I'd put A.J. Brown at number 3. I'd put Amon-Ra St. Brown at 4. And I'd put CeeDee Lamb at 5. I think those are the 5 best wide receivers in the National Football League. Now I'm sitting there thinking about it. Would I rather have Nico Collins or Puka Nacua? Would I rather have Tyreek Hill on a focused level? Would I rather have him than Puka Nacua? Yeah, I'd take Tyreek Hill. I'd rather have Mike Evans. And you know that pains me to say I'd rather have Mike Evans. Puka being at 5 just feels like a way too high of a list to me to put him on.
I mean, Puka is a lot of flavor of the month. Like, what? I know he's had 2 good seasons, but maybe that makes me a skeptic. Maybe that makes me a hater. But I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I just told you I am basing it on last year. But even last year, I wouldn't have said Puka Nacua was that type of wide receiver. At least he wasn't to me last season as a person that drafted him in fantasy, which is what really everyone cares about. Like, that seems high for Puka Nacua to me.
Yeah, it seems very high to me to have Puka Nacua as the 5th best wide receiver in the National Football League. And again, I like Puka. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I don't think he's a good wide receiver. I just think 5 is just an incredibly high number. All right, when it comes to tight end, number 1, George Kittle. Number 2, Brock Bowers. Number 3, Trey McBride. Number 4, Mark Andrews. Number 5, Sam Laporta. You might be wondering, where is Travis Kelce? They actually have Travis Kelce at number 7 on the list. He is behind TJ Hawkinson, who was number 6 on the list. I think Brock Bowers is number 1. I'd put him at number 1. I'd put George Kittle at number 2. I'd probably put Andrews at 3, McBride at 4, Laporta at 5. Laporta got off to a little bit of a slow start, it felt like last year, but really started to kind of get going the second half of the season. That feels about right. I also would put TJ Hawkinson ahead of Travis Kelce. Kelce being at 7 at this stage in his career, that feels about right to me.
I agree with you on Kelce. What is Kittle doing at 1? Like, what? Huh? The answer is Brock Bowers. Like, I know it might not be a popular opinion in Kansas City. Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the National Football League. Full stop. Not George Kittle. Not Travis Kelce. I like Sam Laporta a lot. It's not Sam Laporta. Brock Bowers is a freak at tight end. The way other towns talk about Travis Kelce, maybe not with the winning, but with the individual success, is how you will be talking about Brock Bowers for a long time in maybe Vegas and somewhere else. You know, how his NFL career is going to go. He's really, really good. How is he not number 1?
It's a good question. I mean, number 2 on the list certainly makes sense to me.
I mean,
after
still
just
high,
being a rookie. Yeah. No,
what did Kittle do that made him better last year?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think right now, if you asked me, I'd rather have Brock Bowers as my starting tight end than I'd rather have George Kittle. But Kittle, I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's one of the best players in the National Football League. So, surprise, surprise, it would appear that the mayor of Kansas City is about to call into the show. Very excited to be joined by him. There's a lot of stuff to talk to him about. Hey, is the city ready for the World Cup as we are 1 year away from it? And we'll also get his thoughts on the bill being passed in Missouri. We have told that the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quentin Lucas, is about to call into the show in 5 minutes. I'm excited to talk to him. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
There's nothing like a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. This Father's Day, your dad deserves a feast fit for the king of the grill, only at Hy-Vee. This Thursday through Sunday, save big on 5-ounce bacon-wrapped sirloin, $3.99 each, 8-ounce New York strip steak, $7.99, or 6-ounce filet mignon for $9.99 each. Really hungry? The Big T-Bone won't disappoint. Stock up for summer and crown your dad king of the grill at the gigantic 4-day steak sale only at Hy-Vee.
This year, I'm making Father's Day brunch for me and my dad. Hy-Vee has everything we need to make Father's Day special. Not only do they have everything for brunch, but they have top-shelf whiskey and scotch, fine wines and craft beers, and they have an expert staff that's ready to help you find the perfect gift at everyday low prices. Plus, you can save 30 cents per gallon on fuel when you purchase select $50 gift cards, and save 20 cents more per gallon with every $15 Hallmark purchase as well. Make this Father's Day memorable only at Hy-Vee.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Are you feeling tired, maybe a little foggy, or just not like yourself? Well, it could be low T. Symptoms like low energy, poor sleep, and a lack of motivation. They don't have to control your life. And at Heartland Men's Health, they specialize in treating low testosterone and helping men regain their vitality and confidence. With just a simple, quick quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com, you can find out if you're experiencing low T, and then you can book a $100 consultation. They'll run your labs, and within 30 minutes, you'll have your answers. And if you start treatment that day, then the visit is on the house. In just weeks, you'll feel more energy, get better sleep, improve workouts, and have a stronger sex drive. So don't let this hold you back. Pick up the phone. Don't wait. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today. Heartland Men's Health has 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Reclaim your energy and confidence today.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy?
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
When it comes to barbecue, my family and I love Smokehouse Barbecue. We always start with their barbecue nachos when we dine in at one of their 3 locations in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence. Then we dive right into their burnt ends, the hickory pit beans, and my favorite, the pulled chicken sandwich. Smokehouse is ready to cater your events as well, whether it's at your house or in one of their banquet rooms. Check them out at smokehousebbq.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Heavy traffic northbound 35 heading towards downtown, starting at about Cambridge Circle, and does ease up once you get into the downtown loop, where you'll find just a few extra delays on the southern lanes. And then out of downtown, eastbound 70, off and on slowdowns till about 27th Street. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
We actually did not have any guests scheduled today, but you know what? The mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quinn Lucas, just decided to call. So you know what? We're going to take his phone call. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Mayor Quentin Lucas. Mayor Q, how are you doing today, my man?
You know what? Every day is interesting, but it's a good day in Kansas City and Missouri. Glad we're getting, I think, this stadium issue resolved.
Okay, let's start with the stadium then. That is a very interesting word choice to use, stadium resolved. What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean by that is the work of the Missouri legislature just 2 days ago that was passing the Show Me Sports Investment Act, allowing for Missouri through concrete funds to support up to 50% of stadium construction costs, unlike Kansas, where you have speculative bonds that are not state-backed. This, I think, already makes a huge difference. You'll have local engagement, the city of Kansas City largely working with the Royals, Jackson County working with the Chiefs. I think what this tells us, at least, is that this ongoing saga will not go on forever, and more than anything, that I think what the teams have been looking for is a good, fair offer from the state of Missouri, very responsible to our taxpayers, and the sort of thing that says that we can, I think, wrap this up in days and weeks rather than having months and years ahead where we keep talking about all of it.
All right, let's talk about this from the Royals' perspective, because it sounds like, just based on what you said, you guys are working directly with the Royals to try to get this done. Is there a chance that this goes to a vote, or do you guys think that you'll be able to come up with the money or move some things around where in a couple of days we will hear an announcement, or in a couple of weeks we'll hear an announcement that the city and the Royals are working together to build a stadium in downtown Kansas City?
Look, ultimately it's a decision of the Kansas City Royals, but I can tell you right now, Kansas City already has an offer and a package, particularly with state support, that lays out how the Royals, through incentives, through existing approaches that we have now and existing financing, is able to support the construction of a downtown baseball stadium. I respect the people. We will have public hearings till the cows come home, but because this is not a sales tax, because this is not a new tax, this is the sort of thing that doesn't actually have to go to a vote. And I don't say that to avoid any engagement publicly, but just in the same way that in Kansas they passed star bonds of the legislature that did not go to a vote of the people of the whole state of Kansas. Just like in Missouri, they just passed the Show Me Sports Investment Act. Kansas City, because we're the largest city in the region, because we're the flagship brand of the region, have abilities through our size, through our experience to build big things. Just like we did with CPKC Stadium, we can get this stadium done. And I think this is the sort of thing where we can say we can get it done with some signatures on paper rather than going through a long, drawn-out further political process.
How open are the Royals to this? Because at least in the Missouri Senate in the special session, they did not want to commit to building a stadium in Missouri. Are they still very responsive to the idea of a downtown stadium?
I think I would say a few things. One, I believe they continue to be responsive to the idea of a downtown stadium. I think it's fair to say right now that the Royals are playing their options. I respect that. They're a business, and their business has got to make a plan for the future. I think what's up to us is to do two things. One, and I know there are some of the listeners who may be angry about it, big cities need to have big things, right? We do not want to live in a city where we've moved everything out of downtown. We do not want to live in a city where people aren't confident going downtown anymore. That's one reason why we make sure we have investments like the Music Hall, the Kaufman Performing Arts Center, Bartle Hall, T-Mobile Center. And I mean, my thought is if we think it's worthwhile to invest in us being able to see Celine Dion downtown, I want to invest in seeing Bobby Witt 81 nights a year. And I think that just makes good economic sense. I think the second point in connection with all of this is that right now, Kansas City is fully committed behind this. Earlier this week, you saw a comment from the new city manager in the Kansas City Star connecting with our engagement and our interest. I think you are seeing a full and consistent approach from Kansas City agencies. And I will note this distinction. The Missouri legislature, lots of the discussion was about what will Jackson County do or not do. And we can talk about them with the Chiefs in just a second. I think Kansas City gets this deal done, and I think the Royals understand that Kansas City, matched with the state of Missouri and the resources that we have, that looks to help fund a large part of the stadium responsibly for our taxpayers, is how we can get beyond this issue and build a new stadium and hopefully have a press conference sometime soon.
Right now, we're joined by the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quentin Lucas. Do you guys have an idea from a financial perspective what you guys are willing to commit to this? We have a concrete number from the state of Missouri based on the passing of this bill. Do you guys have an idea in terms of numbers what Kansas City is willing to commit to the Royals to keep them on this side of state line?
We do, and I think we've shared this before. We think that there are at least several $100 million in potential redirections, infrastructure funds, and others that Kansas City, Missouri can build out that help support the Royals project. I'll also note this about Kansas City, Missouri, as unique from other jurisdictions all around the region. We have infrastructure, we have public transit, we have parking garages adjacent to the site. And so rather than building something new or tearing down half of a city that you might see in proposals in other places, instead of stealing tax incentives off of already existing entertainment districts, and for my friends in Kansas, instead of filling up 119th Street and Knoll, which already have more than enough traffic, we have, I think, a build-out that works. I will note, downtown Kansas City is designed already to get large numbers of people to and from downtown each and every day. So downtowns were created. So it makes, to me, common sense based on just the zoning, the planning, the way an area is built out. It makes common sense on the financing, and we'll make sure we share that with the Royals. I think the position we are in now, and I think we have heard lots of irresponsible discussion over the past year, this turns to the Royals making a choice. Do you want a blue suit or I think they'll make a choice whether they want another suburban site. They're already in one now. Mind you, do they want a new one with more things around it for now and to make what I think would be more of a 20-year decision? Or do they want to do something that is foundational, changes downtown Kansas City, and I think changes the team for the better for generations to come?
I know you've seen the story by now, and maybe you knew about it before it hit the timeline, or maybe you didn't. When you heard about the site at 119th and Knoll and the financial commitment that the Royals have made to purchasing that site, do you guys see that as a real threat, or did you guys see that as a bluff to potentially get things moving on the Missouri side?
Well, the Royals it's an option for those who aren't in the world of contracts. People purchase options all the time, but it means as though that they don't have to buy it long term. They were trying to enhance, I think, their hand in dealing with whomever and whatever jurisdictions that they may be considering things with. What I understand and what I believe from the Royals is this. Since about, 2021, 2022, they have been talking about downtown baseball. They've been talking about downtown baseball because it is something special in America. People talk about Fenway Park. People talk about urban facilities, even ones that aren't in core downtown areas, but are in cores of cities surrounded by a lot of stuff, Wrigley Field. What they don't talk about is, hey, let's move the Cubs to Naperville, even if that makes sense and there's a mall across the street. So, look, there are decisions to be made. There are different teams that have taken different approaches. Metro Atlanta is something that's raised a lot, but I'll note in Atlanta, traffic's awful. It's a metro of 6 million people, about 500,000 of whom live in the city of Atlanta. It's a very different space. In Kansas City, we still go downtown for lots of things. I think most Kansas Cityans are happy downtown has vastly improved since the year 2000. And so I think the Royals have a clear path in front of them. And at this point, money and issues and political will is no longer an impediment in making sure they can get things done.
Right now, we're talking to the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quentin Lucas, joining us on the show today to talk about the special stadium bill that was just passed in Missouri. So you mentioned that the city of Kansas City is having the conversations with the Kansas City Royals. Let's talk about the Chiefs side of it. Are you confident in Jackson County to get this done? Because there's one person, I'm not going to mention his name, nobody seems to think that he is helping the proceedings. And then another person who is very public in all of this, every time I look on the news, he is not in the news for what his job is actually related to. Do you guys trust Jackson County to handle their end of the bargain when it comes to the Chiefs?
I am going to take a line from Congressman Emanuel Cleaver and say I'm praying for everybody. And I think what my answer will be is very simply this. It's common sense. If you are somebody who represents all of Jackson County, and if you're somebody who thinks about all of Jackson County, do you want a giant donut hole at the Truman Sports Complex? And right now I'm thinking about the folks in Lee Summit, Blue Springs, Raytown, Independence, everybody who's east of the stadium. The balance of how things go in our region, there's a lot of stuff downtown. There's increasingly stuff in Kansas. You have to have something that is in central or eastern Jackson County. The Chiefs are laying out that path. Arrowhead Stadium is that path. It continues to give energy, attention, investment to Arrowhead and the area around it. And frankly, I think if you look at Green Bay and other stadiums that are similarly situated, football and Gillette Stadium up in Boston, you know, football is the sort of thing that can support a good build-out near it. It's not used all the time, but team Hall of Fames are what Green Bay has done. A conference center is something they've done up there. Gillette Stadium, similarly. I think this is the sort of thing where common sense prevails. There are a lot of dramas, intrigues, political discussions, all of that every day in county government. I'm not going to speak to any of that. What I will speak to is it makes sense. If you're somebody who's elected to represent Raytown, Independence, if you're somebody who's thinking about the future of Lee Summit, do you want something important for the region, vital and central to the region, closer to those suburbs, or do you want to move it 35 minutes away? To me, that answer is clear.
Mayor, how do you fight, I guess, at least what this bill represents? Because right now, I think it is safe to say the Chiefs have now two concrete, clear options on the table. One is a $1.1 billion renovation of a stadium that was built in 1972. The other one is a state is promising you to build you Allegiant Stadium. They are promising to build you SoFi Stadium, the Falcon Stadium, one of the most beautiful football stadiums in the world. How do you fight simply putting a fresh coat of paint on an old stadium where another state is offering to build them a brand new stadium?
Yeah, I think it's very simple. First of all, let's be real about what we've been talking about over the last year. A year ago when the Star Bonds issue passed, everybody's like, oh, my God, they're moving immediately, which, by the way, we're all sitting here a year later, did not happen. But let's think about the challenges with that. First of all, Star Bonds don't have state government backing. They don't have bonds backing them. So it's a question of, all right, these are these speculative bonds. We see in the news all the time, if we're actually reading it, projects that are not fulfilling them. Home field, Prairie Fire and Overland Park, all types of things. And so I think it is, frankly, a more speculative deal. But then going back to this other very clear point, which is to build a new domed stadium at this point probably costs between $2.5 or $3 billion. The Kansas incentive, I think, goes to what, 1.5? So the question is, are the Chiefs going to spend $1.5 billion tomorrow? Are they writing that check? Are they writing that check out of the funds they have now to do it? Or are they going to continue to play at something that we all go there know to be one of the finest facilities in the country? And CDOT, you get to see other facilities. I've been blessed to do so. I've been to most Super Bowls. I get blasted for it, but sure makes me able to compare it here. I don't think there is a better place to watch a game than Arrowhead Stadium. And I think a large percentage of Chiefs fans agree. And I think if you put $1 billion into that stadium, whatever issue you might have, it is hard to beat it anywhere else. So I don't think age in this situation is an issue. Age ain't nothing but a number. If you got a facility like this, just like Wrigley, just like Fenway, just like ending up Lambeau, I think the Chiefs have that sort of value right now. And I don't think it's the type of home field advantage that you squander away for a stadium. And I'm sorry, maybe it's because I went to football games at the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis. They had a facility that was they have a facility that's much younger than ours, which the Rams left after 20 years. I don't think you take that sort of risk when you have something as golden as Arrowhead Stadium.
Last thing here, are you confident that we are coming to the end of this thing? I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. The citizens on both sides of state line, I think, are tired of the back and forth, tired of the discussion, and simply want the teams to come to a conclusion and let us know where the future of the Royals and Chiefs is going to be. Are you confident that we are close to the end of this? I mean, I'm looking at the Star Bond expiring date in Kansas. That's coming up in less than 3 weeks from now. So if they maintain that we're not pushing it back, well, that offer is going to expire here in less than 3 weeks. Are you confident that we are toward the end of this conversation, that at some point in the next 3 weeks, we have a clear picture of what the Chiefs and Royals are going to do?
Short answer, yes. I think we are coming to an end, thankfully. Second point on that is this. If for whatever reason, I've said this all along, if for whatever reason they negotiate in a long length with either jurisdiction and for some reason it doesn't work out, you're telling me that if the Chiefs say, yeah, we're going to try to go ahead and build Arrowhead 2.0 and we're going to do all this work and it's going to be out of Sherman Sports Complex, it's going to work, and then somehow it doesn't work out, and they call Kansas the next day and they say, hey, are you going to work with us? You don't think they're going to answer the call? And I'll be a big kid about it. If the Royals tomorrow say, yeah, we're going to build the suburban Superdome at the Sprint campus, they'll be like, odd, be disappointed. But if they came back months later and said, all right, we want to talk to Kansas City because it turns out downtown works, then, yeah, you can come back. I say all that to suggest the following. Well, this is time for a decision to be made. I think it's time for everybody to move. And I don't think it is the sort of thing where you cross the Rubicon and you can't necessarily go back. So I think that I stand in this situation, I don't do every day, with the Kansas Republican leaders who are saying, yeah, let's get this done by June 30th. I'm with them. I think Kansas City has put a great deal forward. I think it only makes sense in Jackson County to move ahead, no matter the politics or the people involved. And I think the teams recognize that. And they recognize you want to be in jurisdictions that have done this before. You know, one thing that's not talked about with the stadium projects and other jurisdictions that the Royals could go, how do you even handle the zoning? What do the people think? What's going to happen? You're going to demolish half of North Kansas City? You're going to bulldoze through Public Common and Overland Park? There's a lot of steps there. Downtown makes sense to a man and woman, every person saying, all right, I at least get that. I understand the people that are never leave Kaufman folks, but I think there is a clear message here. There is clear monetary support, and I hope there's a clear answer coming up.
And that is the mayor of Kansas City. Mayor Quentin Luke is joining us on the show today to react to the state of Missouri has passed a bill to fund a new stadium for the Kansas City Royals and also a renovation of Arrowhead for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mayor Q, safe travels on the way back to Kansas City, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely. That is Mayor Quentin Luke is joining us on the show today. I have an analogy based on what we just heard from the mayor. We'll get to it coming up on the other side because I think now that all the information is out there, it is clear what Missouri's message is. It's also clear what Kansas's message is. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Heavy traffic northbound 35 heading towards downtown, starting at about Cambridge Circle, and does ease up once you get into the downtown loop, where you'll find just a few extra delays on the southern lanes. And then out of downtown, eastbound 70, off and on slowdowns till about 27th Street. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BEACH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BEACH to 42424. That's BEACH to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Subscribe to the 249 Miles of College Football podcast with new episodes released on Wednesdays. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Ring the bell! We've done it again! Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
All right, there certainly was a lot to react to from the mayor of Kansas City. He just joined us on the show, 913-586-7965. You guys are certainly free to chime in. If you want to call in, text in, however you want to respond to what the mayor had to say, we're certainly happy to hear it. All right. Now, Rob, I don't really know what the PC term for this is, or I don't really know like what the regular term is, but in a slang term, Rob, they would call this dirty macking. And dirty macking is, let's say that you and I were both fighting for the same girl. And then behind your back, I would say kind of mean things about you to her. So she would look down on you and favor me. I think it is very, very obvious. After now, we have had representatives on from both sides. We have had Missouri senators. We've had Kansas senators. We've had we have had people on both sides of this. I think it is very clear what the message is, at least to the Chiefs and the Royals from both sides. The Missouri message, have you noticed, Rob, it's been pretty constant from the Missouri side is, hey, those star bonds, that 70% that you guys keep throwing, that's not as concrete, that's not as real as everyone perceives it to be. A little bit of funny money. hey, you guys keep touting how great this deal is and how incredible this package is, but in actuality, when you really go through it, it's not as good. That is the Missouri side of it. I'm not telling you it's right or wrong, but we can sit here and we can play quotes from Missouri where Missouri government officials have said, hey, that Kansas deal isn't really the deal that everybody thinks that it is. It isn't as sweet. It isn't as you got to take this offer as much as they want you to believe. I think on the other side is the Kansas side is pretty simple. You don't have to deal with them anymore. I think the Kansas side is pretty simple. Come over here and you never have to talk to Frank White again. You never have to deal with the city of Kansas City. You guys have been going back and forth with them and dealing with this for years. Come over here and see how much nicer and easier it's going to be. We will accommodate you. We will work together. We want to be on the same page with this thing moving forward. I think that has been the message from the very, very beginning. They're dysfunctional over there. You don't want to be over there anymore. It's so much better over here. Come over here. That even if you're the Royals, that I think it is obvious, at least just from what the Royals have said, the Royals have never really sold you this dream of moving to the suburbs. They've never really sold you this dream of, well, our goal is to move to Kansas. No, they've sold you the dream of downtown baseball. Now, they tried it the first time. It failed pretty miserably the first time, but I still think in a lot of ways they are holding on to that dream. You just heard the mayor of Kansas City say, we have put a package together to keep the Royals. That now it comes down to, can we make the finances work? Can we make all of the things work? But the state of Missouri has put together a package to keep the Royals, and the city of Kansas City has also put a package together. And if you listen to what the mayor just said, they've cut Jackson County out of the conversation. The way that he talks about the Royals and the way that he talks about the Chiefs are two drastically different things. He talks about the Royals as if the city and the Royals are working together. He talks about the Chiefs as if they don't ever have conversations with them. He talks about the Chiefs as if he doesn't really know what's going on a whole lot, that he is hearing it through the grapevine and hearing it through politics. When he asked him the question about Jackson County, he said, I'm going to pray for them. That don't sound good, especially when the people that we believe are in charge of these negotiations, one, everybody has talked about as a roadblock, and the other one, I hate to throw his personal business out there, but his personal business is on the news every single night to the point where they want him to resign because his personal things have bled over onto the work side. So it just continues to, Rob, I think, go with at least how I've felt on this. I believe the Royals are going to be in downtown Kansas City. I think ultimately the Chiefs are just going to move to Kansas because I'm not sure if the Chiefs want to continue to deal with Jackson County. And if Jackson County is at the forefront of this conversation, I think the Chiefs want to get away from them.
I think, to answer your original question, with the Dirty Mac in question, is it possible both sides are saying the correct thing about the other side, and that's just how it works? I think the Missouri people are correct. I think that 70% is an idea. It takes more than just sign on the dotted line that 70% exists. We've had too many people on the show that say it's not a pure, clean, and simple 70. Now, there's some, ways to manipulate and maneuver. You know how politics works. They can make it a lot of money, but it ain't a true, clean 70%. I think the Missouri people that come on this show are correct to say that. And the mayor was on. It's correct to say, hey, Kansas isn't batting 1,000 with Star Bonds initiatives. Prairie Fire, out by my home, is considered a large Star Bond failure. However, I think what the Kansas side is pitching is also correct. Jackson County's a mess. Now, the state seems to have gotten in line, and we now know they're going to offer money. The county is a disaster. And it's not just the person who's very publicly in the news for things you don't want to be in the news for. It's the former second baseman that just can't seem to get any deal done and seems to have a personal axe to grind with the teams and was objectively a massive roadblock in getting things done ahead of the previous vote. So I think the mayor said it there without saying it. He said we can get the Royals between state funding and local funding in downtown Kansas City without a vote. I think that is going to happen. I think if you were a no voter on April whatever last year, you're going to lose in the long run because the Royals are coming downtown and you're not getting a say-so in it anymore.
Yeah, but I don't know if, and we don't got to rehash that entire thing. I don't know if people are 100% opposed to the idea of the stadium being downtown. I think that people were opposed to, the where they were thinking about putting the stadium. And for as long as we've been having this conversation as a community, that is never where people envision on where the stadium was going to be, that we would just lose the crossroads now, and that we were going to put a stadium there. So I think that was some of it, and we talked about it. I think the Royals' plan was half-brained. I don't think that it really, really came together. If you believe what the mayor is saying and you believe what Kansas City is saying, I don't know why the Royals would walk away from that deal, because in theory, it offers them everything they've told us they want. That's what it offers them. If you were saying that the Royals don't have to go to a public vote, and I don't know if they would win the public vote, I think you guys would give Clark Hunt the money. I don't think that John Sherman has built up enough goodwill for you guys to sign up to give him more money. I don't think you guys are very interested in that. I think you're very interested in doing that with Clark Hunt and preserving Arrowhead if that's what it takes. I don't know if you guys feel that way toward the Royals and toward their new stadium. So if you were telling me that the Royals, at least from what you were hearing, the state of Missouri has helped significantly to agree to help pay for their new stadium, they are working now directly with the city to put it in downtown. They would not have to go through the, quote, embarrassment, end quote, of a public vote, and we will give you some of the money to build the stadium where it's going to be your same original cost. I don't know if the Royals are passing that up to move to 119th and all. Especially when your entire vision, you have never once heard John Sherman speak very passionately about moving the Royals to the suburbs. He has talked very passionately about moving them to downtown Kansas City and a vision of downtown baseball. It sounds to me like the city has come up with a way to get that vision. Sure, maybe it took you 14, 16 months longer to get there, but ultimately we got the deal done and you are where you want to be in downtown Kansas City. So the Royals, it sounds to me like we are really close to the Royals at least having almost everything that they wanted from the beginning. And the Chiefs, I think we're in the same spot as before, is do you guys want to stay at Arrowhead, or do you guys want a brand new stadium? And again, do you guys want to continue to deal with Jackson County, or you can just start fresh and deal with Kansas?
And maybe this is the same question, just phrased differently. I think the Chiefs, over in their internal conversations, because as much as they're sitting over there at the practice facility and talking about, hey, who's going to be starting left tackle and left guard and those things, there is no doubt in my mind Clark Hunt, Mark Donovan, and the entire board that runs the Kansas City Chiefs are having the conversation about the stadium. I think they are asking themselves the following question. This is, I think, the first question they're asking themselves and the whole process. Do we want to deal with Jackson County and a vote again? Because I agree with you. John Ketz on the show, Matt Evans on the show, me and you feel the same way. If they go to a vote by themselves, I think the Chiefs will get both county money and state money. I think that is going to happen. The question is, do the Chiefs want to go through that process again? Because it wasn't just the vote. And I think people forget this. There was a lot of problematic moments leading up to the vote, more than just the Royals' plan. The Chiefs' plan, by the way, came in late. The Chiefs' plan that came in was underwhelming. It felt like there kept being hang-ups and situations where, it might not go to a vote, it might go to a vote. Like, there was a lot of politicking that had to happen just to get on the ballot. And then on the ballot, the Royals had a bad plan, but the Chiefs' plan was underwhelming, and the Chiefs' plan was presented, a month? 3 weeks before the vote? It wasn't like they had their plan out in January and they said, here it is. So do the Chiefs want to deal with all that again? That's one of the major questions over at One Arrowhead Drive. If they are willing to do that, because they will need a vote, if they're willing to do that, I think they are staying. But that is a massive if in my mind, because it's not just we want to vote, bing, bang, boom, we're on the ballot and we're going to pass. There's a lot of hurdles still to overcome.
I also think it's very important to note in all of this that the Chiefs did not sell a very passionate stadium renovation plan. You can tell when a team is, hey, this is what we want to do. This is really important. We want to have this happen. It's not kind of how the Chiefs sold last time. The Chiefs kind of sold it as, you guys are giving money away. I guess we'll take some of it too. That we have this sales tax. Technically, we get half of the money. We have to share it with the Royals. It's much more their plan than our plan. But, if you guys are giving money away, we'll do something with the money. Here, we'll put some heaters up there for you guys. We'll renovate the concession stand. We'll do these things for you. I would love to see what a real renovation plan looks like. I ask this question almost every time we have this conversation, and no one has been able to tell me. I still have absolutely no clue of what the Chiefs planned on doing at the site where Kauffman Stadium is. They used activation zone and never really explained what they were trying to do. Like none, not even a little bit. So I'd love to know, out of the $1.1 billion that they are saying they need for a renovation, what does that mean for what we presume is going to be an empty lot on where a baseball stadium used to go? I would love to see what that plan is. Let me ask you this question. Hypothetical, obviously not a realistic situation. Indianapolis is, we talked about earlier, Indianapolis is very similar to Kansas City. They have an NFL team. We have an NFL team. They have a basketball team. We have a baseball team. Don't have any other professional sports teams, not in the major sports, but they have a WNBA team. We have an MLS team. They have a racetrack. We have a racetrack, et cetera. You guys get the point I'm making. Tomorrow, if there was a vote where Kansas City would take the Pacers and then Kansas City would then give them the Royals, do you think it passes? Like if Indianapolis called up and you could trade teams the way that teams trade players, do you think that Kansas City would trade the Royals for the Pacers straight up?
That's really, really interesting question. No. I think if you put it to a vote, Kansas City would say no. Because for whatever reason, and I can't really wrap my arms around the why, and I don't seem to like that this is a thing, but it is a thing. Kansas City just is not just like dislikes the NBA, they are like outgoingly anti-NBA. So I think if you polled the average Kansas Cityan and said, you get the Pacers but you give up the Royals, they would say no because of their very loud dislike for the NBA, which again, I can't explain that dislike. It doesn't really make any sense to me. Basketball is popular in Kansas City. We see it at the college level. It thrives in Kansas City at the college level, but the minute they get paid by ownership versus an NIL collective, the city just tunes out. So I think the city would say no, but I don't know that's a good answer, but that's my best answer.
I think it'd be close. I think it'd be like 60-40. I think it would pass. Like, I think in this hypothetical, I think Kansas City would vote to keep the Royals. I think there would be a large portion that would be like, yeah, I'm fine with that. I think there are a large portion of people that would be fine to make the trade straight up. I know this. Someone said, I'd rather have a hockey team. You are not trading the Royals for any hockey team. That gets resoundingly shot down. I just don't think there's enough people that are really into hockey. I also think the NBA is kind of one of those things that I'm guessing a lot of you don't like the NBA because you just don't have a rooting interest in the NBA. You just don't have a rooting interest. That if there was a team that had Kansas City on their chest and they played down there, I think a lot of you would be surprised at how much you actually like the NBA. You like a lesser version of it now. You love a lesser version of it now. In fact, we celebrate a lesser version of it. There's a Hall of Fame in downtown Kansas City that is attributed to a lesser version of the NBA. Can you imagine if you could then keep watching Christian Brown play and he maybe plays for the Kansas City team? You'd be super excited about that. So I agree with you, Rob. I don't think it would pass. I think that Kansas City would vote to keep the Royals. I think it'd be like 60-40, though. I think there'd be a lot of people that'd be happy to trade the baseball team for Indianapolis' basketball team if it was a straight-up one-to-one trade.
I think it would be close. I agree with you. I don't think it would be a resounding like 90-10. But I think the Royals would be the team they keep. Now, I mean, it's a tier down, but if you said current versus the Fever, I think the Fever would win in
for sure. I mean, one just has Caitlin Clark on their team.
Clark.
Yeah.
But like I think most cities outside of like the Lakers are like the best franchise in the history of the NBA. I think most NBA teams Kansas City would vote no on. And I agree with you. They'd also vote no on the NHL, but I'm not as sold as you are that they would vote no on the NHL. I think that would be close too.
I don't know if they would trade Oak Park Mall for the hockey team. I'm serious. I don't know. I'm honest. I really don't know if that's the case. A lot of people are saying we had an NBA team. They left for Sacramento. A lot of us just don't. I'm under 40 years old. So, like, hearing the stories of how the team, like, that's just never been part of my life. I obviously know that happened, but I don't know if there's a lot of people today. Like, I don't know if your average 37-year-old is not into the NBA. I don't know if they're not into the NBA because of the Kansas City Kings moved to Sacramento before we were born. I just don't really think that's it. I think a lot of it is, and I get it. I know a lot of people that are like this. Hey, I really like basketball, but I like watching Missouri play or KU play or K-State play. If you remove the rooting interest for it, I'm not super interested in basketball. That makes sense. Like, I don't know if baseball would be super popular here if we didn't have a baseball team. Like, I'm guessing in San Antonio, baseball ain't super popular. I'm just going to go out on that limb and guess that people in San Antonio just don't love Major League Baseball. You do because you have a team, which makes sense. It has your city logo on it. They represent you. You get to go to the game. So I do think if the NBA was here, people would get behind it and support it. If the NBA can work in Oklahoma City and Milwaukee, it could absolutely work in Kansas City. I'm convinced of it. They just don't have a team. All right, coming up on the other side, Rob, I actually made a list based off hearing what Kingsley Suamataia said earlier today. I wrote a list of who I think the 5 most interesting Chiefs players are heading into the season. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/2025. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
It's graduation season, a time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle, and expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, making a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Tonight, expect showers and thunderstorms with a low of 68.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with expert HVAC installation done right the first time. Enjoy zero down and payments from $180 a month. Schedule your consultation today at anthonyphce.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Heaviest traffic right now looks like it's out of downtown, eastbound 70. It does start to lighten up by the time you get to 18th Street. Also eastbound 70 out of the 435 exchange, and you're going to see heavy traffic there until about Sterling. Southbound 71 also looking a little sluggish starting at MLK, and northbound 35 from the state line into downtown. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey Kansas City, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I made a list. This is what I made a list of. I was thinking of this because Kingsley Suamataia met with the media earlier today. But before I play that for you, I want to play what Andy Reid had to say about Kingsley Suamataia, who met with the media today. He was asked about his development at guard.
Yeah, it looked like he learned as he went. It was rough, obviously, early. And expectations are high. You come into a championship caliber team and thrown in there at left tackle. And it's not always the easiest thing for a young guy. So, but I think it was a great experience and I think that'll tell itself out as he goes forward.
So that was Andy Reid talking about Kingsley at left guard. Kingsley Suamataia, he met with the media. He said he's excited about this.
Went against one of the best D tackles, and I got some good words from him after the game. So definitely stuff to take in and just to improve on.
What did he say?
Just said, for playing guard my first time, he said I did pretty good. So, and I've known him growing up. So.
Who was it? Zach Allen?
Yep, Zach Allen. Yep.
All right, I made a list for you guys. I think you guys will appreciate this list. These are the 5 most important Chiefs players to me. Obviously, this team's not good if Patrick Mahomes isn't good. I think we get all of that. But I think these are the guys that they're going to need to have a big season from, that move the needle, that are very important to the Chiefs getting back to a 4th straight Super Bowl. Number 1. Rob, you remember how on the Knicks, I could tell you how the Knicks performed solely based off how Josh Hart played. I don't think Josh Hart was their best player. I don't think he was close to their best player. But if you just showed me Josh Hart's stat line, I could tell you how the Knicks play, and I could tell you if they won or lost. This season, I can tell you how good the Chiefs' offense is based off Hollywood Brown. Just him. I don't need to see anybody else's offensive numbers, just Hollywood Brown's. If Hollywood Brown's offensive numbers are like they were last year, where he was hurt, the Chiefs were 17th in points scored last year. They didn't have Hollywood Brown for basically the entire season. Their offense was kind of Now, they had other injuries, sure. You just got to show me one person's. If you showed me right now that Hollywood Brown had 825 yards, I find it hard to believe that the Chiefs don't have a top 5 offense in the National Football League next season. If he has that kind of season, a lot of other things went really, really good for the offense. So Hollywood Brown is near the top of my list. I'm being serious. I don't need to see the production of really anybody else on their offense other than Hollywood Brown to tell you how well their season was and what the ceiling of their offense was. They lost him from the very beginning. Their ceiling just wasn't going to be super high. It's a game of numbers. How many different weapons, how many different guys can you throw at teams? Having him in the mix, even if you have an injury to Rice, even if you have an injury to Worthy, and he's stepping up and having a big year and having a game where he has 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown, that'll tell me how good the Chiefs offense can be. So he's number 1 on my list. I will continue to bang the drum. We know Rob's not going to bang it. Isaiah Pacheco. Every move that they made in the running back room this offseason was based off of Isaiah Pacheco is going to be back, he's going to return to normal, and he's going to be healthy. I know that you guys put everything that went wrong last year on the offense on their offensive line, and I get that point. One of the things for me is when the Chiefs are one-dimensional and can't get dynamic plays from their run game, they're a kind of easy offense to deal with. Now, you still got to deal with Mahomes and his ability to improvise, and you still got to deal with Andy Reid and his creativity. But when you make the Chiefs largely one-dimensional, or you take away explosiveness in the run game, and the Chiefs have those games where Mahomes throws it 12 out of 13 times and they're not balanced, you can manage the Chiefs offense. Them getting back to having an explosive run game, and I'm not saying you need to be elite at it, but if you end up having a guy that runs for 900 yards, that gives you 4.6 yards per carry, and just gives you some kind of home run threat, it drastically changes their offense. So I got Hollywood Brown and Isaiah Pacheco. 2 of the guys on the offensive line seem very, very simple to me. Kingsley Suamataia and Jalen Moore. Every offseason question that the Chiefs have is based off one concept. How do you feel about the left side of their offensive line? For the most part, they didn't really change anything on offense. I mean, the running back room is largely the same. The tight ends are the same. They brought back all the same wide receivers. Their team on offense is very, very similar to the one that played in the Super Bowl. What they are hoping is, A, guys can stay healthy. You'll have Rashee Rice. You'll have Hollywood Brown be healthy. That's one thing that you're counting on. You're also counting that you didn't take too much of a dip on the left side of that offensive line. So Kingsley Suamataia and Jalen Moore, however you want to flip them on the list, this guy's more important than the other guy. One plays left tackle, one plays left guard. I'm perfectly fine with having that conversation when it comes to positional value. But the biggest question heading into the offseason for this team is, what about the left side? It's really one of their few question marks. The Chiefs don't have many question marks on their team. You might not love the answer, but you at least know what the answer is. You know their safeties, you know the linebackers, you know the corners, you know the offensive pieces. I don't think anybody can tell you how the left side is going to go for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a left guard who doesn't have a lot of experience and a left tackle that doesn't have a lot of experience. So those are 2 of my other people. The last person on this list is Charles Omenihu. His impact in the second half of the season, you could see. George Karlaftis was a different player when he was on the field, but it didn't really register into numbers for Charles Omenihu. He had 6 tackles last year. He had 1 sack last season. He wasn't a guy that really had a big year and put together a big season. Now, he was injured, missed a significant amount of time. If you're going to have him from day one and you're telling me that their plan is going to be Charles Omenihu, George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, and then everybody else sort of get in where they fit in, and you get back to having a dynamic pass rush, one that can get after the other team's quarterback and continue to be disruptive, we're talking about, once again, one of the 5 best defenses in the National Football League. I trust their linebackers. I like the Christian Fulton move a lot. I think it gives them a lot of versatility at corner. I think they got a very young and talented secondary with the safety position. There's a lot of things to like about their defense. I do think there's a question on that other side, and the question is just going to be Charles Omenihu. His 2 first seasons have just been disrupted by something. He had the off-the-field issue when they first acquired him from San Francisco. He then got hurt and then missed a large portion of last season. This is the first offseason with the Omenihu where there's no baggage, there's no off the field. He's now healthy going into the year. We've never seen that version of Charles Omenihu for the Chiefs. So those are my 5 most interesting Chiefs heading into their offseason as we're winding down their offseason workouts. It's Kingsley Suamataia, Charles Omenihu, Jalen Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, and Hollywood Brown. Those are the 5 most interesting Chiefs as we are heading into the offseason.
I know we're up against the break, so I'll make this question quick. Are you counting Jalen Moore as a /1A with Josh Simmons? Because I think Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons are equally, if not one is more interesting than the other. I actually think Josh Simmons is more interesting than Jalen Moore. But if you're just lumping them in as is Jalen Moore / Josh Simmons, I won't fight with you. But I think Josh Simmons is far more interesting to me this year than Jalen Moore, because everything you hear out of OTAs and minicamp and everything is, hey, rehab's going great for Josh Simmons. And when he was healthy, he was one of the best tackles in college football last year. And if he's healthy for this year, you would presume he's better than the Niners backup from last year. I think Josh Simmons should be on your list ahead of Jalen Moore.
And you know my stance on this. If you were telling me that the Chiefs are paying a top 10 salary at left tackle for their backup, something went wrong. I understand you can't foresee the NFL draft. You don't know how the draft is going to shake out. I mean, we're talking about the Jalen Moore for this upcoming season. He's making Jordan Mailata money. Like, he's making Jake Matthews money. He's making for the 1 year, he's making $21 million guaranteed. If that's what you are paying for your backup left tackle, something went wrong. And there was just a better way for you to use those funds. You could have used that funds at wide receiver. You could have used those funds on pass rush. There were just other things that you could have spent $21 million on other than what in this case would be a breaking case of emergency if something goes wrong at left tackle. So I'm looking at it, and I've looked at it like this from the beginning as a redshirt year. Start Jalen Moore for this year. You got Juwan Taylor. If an injury happens, it's the NFL. Then you put the young guy in there. And this is a 2-year process to getting him on the field where he either plays left tackle next year because Jalen Moore, you move him over to the right side, or you put him in at right tackle. But I've been very clear about this. I would start Jalen Moore this year. You have paid for him to be your starting left tackle. And if you're going to talk about salary cap league and resources and all of those things, I'm not paying Jake Matthews, Garrett Bowles money for my backup left tackle. I just don't think that's a great resource of how you can use the limited cap space that you have. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Catch Hall of Famer Denny Matthews every Monday at 3.
And gone, Bobby Witt.
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for the 22nd time.
It covers the whole works at Lewisburg Ford.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to the awesome people we have working at Lewisburg Ford and helping our customers, and it really shows with this award because it's only a few dealers that get it, and we've done it 22 times.
I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Helzberg store or helzberg.com.
Psst. Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, 'cause it's only during breakfast. Morning soda? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. With 56 million winning tickets last year, anyone can win big. So set your destination to winning, like gas stations, grocery stores, or anywhere you can buy a ticket. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
There's nothing like a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. This Father's Day, your dad deserves a feast fit for the king of the grill, only at Hy-Vee. This Thursday through Sunday, save big on 5-ounce bacon-wrapped sirloin, $3.99 each, 8-ounce New York strip steak, $7.99, or 6-ounce filet mignon for $9.99 each. Really hungry? The Big T-Bone won't disappoint. Stock up for summer and crown your dad king of the grill at the gigantic 4-day steak sale only at Hy-Vee.
This year, I'm making Father's Day brunch for me and my dad. Hy-Vee has everything we need to make Father's Day special. Not only do they have everything for brunch, but they have top-shelf whiskey and scotch, fine wines and craft beers, and they have an expert staff that's ready to help you find the perfect gift at everyday low prices. Plus, you can save 30 cents per gallon on fuel when you purchase select $50 gift cards, and save 20 cents more per gallon with every $15 Hallmark purchase as well. Make this Father's Day memorable only at Hy-Vee.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Going down in the rinse gauge. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
When you think home insurance, you think boring and complex, right? Wrong. Allstate is now changing the game with our new and improved home insurance. And it all starts with a simplified shopping experience. Our latest online quoting tool gives you confidence in not only knowing you have the right protection, but our lowest price, too. So check Allstate first. For home insurance that's better than ever, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings and prices vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Multi-car crash got that right lane closed of northbound 435. That is right before Stadium. And things backed up to 63rd Street. Also got a stalled car on the left shoulder of K10 westbound just before K7. Seeing heavy traffic around that. Also into downtown, northbound 71 and northbound 35. Starting to see some brake lights. Got emergency vehicles stopping traffic on the northbound lanes of 35 right at 635. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the show. If you missed it, the mayor of Kansas City was on the show about an hour ago. We'll play some of that for you coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. He reacted to the passing of the stadium funding bill in the state of Missouri. The stadium funding bill would help pay for a new stadium for the Royals and stadium renovations for the Chiefs to remain at Arrowhead. Before we get to that, I want to play this audio for you guys. Magic Johnson was on ESPN earlier today, and he was asked a very interesting question. How would you define a superstar? Here's what Magic Johnson had to say.
A person who can go on the road and sell the building.
There we go. That should be. It's a simple definition.
Simple. I'm going to see that person, right?
So you ain't talking skill on the court. That's it. You talk about
draw.
box office.
Stephen
Yeah,
A.
you got to be box
Magic's
office.
in town. You're going to the game.
Yeah, a superstar got to say, man, or you running home from the office and saying, oh, I got to see him on TV, right? And that's what Larry Bird, people running home, right? Charles Barkley, people running home. Shaq, people running home. Kobe, people running home. And then, of course, the greatest that's ever played, Michael Jordan, people going, running home to see him. Or they're trying their best to get into the arena to see that brother play. That's a superstar who could go on the road and sell the building out.
Rob and I were talking about this earlier, and Rob actually doesn't think that that is a good definition of what a superstar is. Really quick point, because I do want you to give your answer. This argument to me is a lot like the Hall of Fame. You and I argue a lot about Mike Evans and is he a Hall of Famer or not. And I've never told you that I don't think Mike Evans is a great player. He obviously is a great player. If we have to spend the amount of time arguing, then you're just not a Hall of Famer, and that the bar should be so high on what a Hall of Famer is that you just know. We don't have to have those arguments about Randy Moss. We know he's a Hall of Famer. You don't need to have these arguments about Barry Sanders. He's just a Hall of Famer. So that's what I think the bar should be. Now, somewhere along the line, we started just letting other guys in, and then if you just had nice round fantasy football numbers, we started letting you into the Hall of Fame. That's not what a Hall of Famer is to me. What I would define as a superstar is part of what he's talking about. I think that's a major part of it. Do you go to the game because of this person? Does he drive interest? Does he drive merch? I also think part of being a superstar today is, do you command conversations? Do people talk about you? Do people have an opinion? There are so many famous people now. There's so many celebrities that just because you are a really good baseball player or a really good basketball player, that is not the only criteria of being a superstar. What's your social media engagement? How involved are you in pop culture? Do you move the needle? Are people going to the store to buy your tennis shoes? Are people buying products because you tell them to buy products? That, to me, is what a superstar is. Caitlin Clark is not just a superstar because she's really good at basketball. She is a superstar because she is a pop culture icon at this point. That she can go out there and tell young girls, hey, I think you guys should buy this makeup, and they will buy it. Taylor Swift is not the biggest musician in the world just because people like her songs, because people are very, very into her personal life, and she moves the needle and can control what people do. That's what makes you a superstar. So by this definition of superstar, my bar is just really high. You got to be LeBron. You got to be Steph. You got to be Patrick Mahomes. You got to be Lionel Messi for me to put you in the conversation of you being a superstar. You can be a great player. Of course, there's a lot of great players, but to be a superstar, to be somebody that a brand would put a campaign, a company would put you in commercials, you got to be a superstar to do that. And I just don't know if there's a lot of superstars that are out there.
So I don't think Magic Johnson is totally wrong here. I think it's part of the formula. How much of a draw are you singularly? But I think Magic Johnson is looking at this, and I understand why, through an NBA lens. Because that criteria as the criteria does not work for the other sports. Carrington, you and I were on remote at Kauffman Stadium 2 days ago. The building was not sold out. Is Aaron Judge not a superstar anymore? Shohei Ohtani is not selling out Rockies games. He's not. No one's going to Rockies games because the Rockies. Does that diminish his superstardom? How many times has Arrowhead been jam-packed and it's The Jags are in town. I was at a playoff game of the Jags. No one was there to see Trevor Lawrence, but he's the up-and-coming guy. He was
but Trevor Lawrence
point.
isn't a superstar.
No,
We're not
I was
debating that.
I was cherry-picking my point. I think Magic is correct, and it's part of the formula, and I think he's correct for it being the formula in the NBA. But if you apply that logic singularly to other sports, it falls apart, and it falls apart fast.
Yeah, but I would argue, though, I'm with you. No, Kauffman Stadium was not sold out. But I do think that Aaron Judge is one of those players that when his team is coming to your town, you are buying a ticket because you want to see him play. I think that's the point more than anything. Do we think that people in Tampa Bay, when the Royals are coming to town, oh, I want to see Bobby Witt Jr. play, I'm going out to the park? Bobby Witt Jr. is an incredible baseball player. He's maybe the best shortstop. We could name a lot of other really good players in baseball. Is he one of those individuals that you think people are buying a ticket for to go see him? So that's why when we have the conversation right now in the NBA about Tyrese Halliburton's a great player. Ain't nobody going to the gym to watch Tyrese Halliburton play basketball. Phenomenal player. He might win finals MVP. He's been amazing, hit big shots. He's not a superstar. I think somewhere along the line, we've blurred the line between what it means to be a good player, what it means to be a great player, and what it means to be an all-time iconic player. All time. That's what I was making by Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is a great wide receiver. Is he an all-time wide receiver? The answer for me is no. The answer for you is yes. Cool. That's what makes it a fun debate. So I think there are a lot of stars in the game. Jimmy Butler is a star. Great player. We all know who Jimmy Butler is. He is not a superstar to me. That's just like the 1% of the 1%. You and I can name a lot of very popular musicians. A superstar is Beyonce. A superstar is Adele. A superstar is Taylor Swift. Those are superstars. I think the same thing is in sports. Caitlin Clark, Steph Curry, LeBron, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Those are superstars. If we got to debate if you're on that level, that special that thing that can put you on the cover of a Wheaties box, the thing that will get kids to go run and buy your tennis shoes, then you're just not a superstar. You're just a great football player or a great athlete. Coming up on the other side, we'll get to the top stories of the day. If you missed it, we also had the mayor of Kansas City on the show to react to the stadium funding bill being passed in the state of Missouri. That's all coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Multi-car crash got that right lane closed of northbound 435. That is right before Stadium. And things backed up to 63rd Street. Also got a stalled car on the left shoulder of K10 westbound just before K7. Seeing heavy traffic around that. Also into downtown, northbound 71 and northbound 35. Starting to see some brake lights. Got emergency vehicles stopping traffic on the northbound lanes of 35 right at 635. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
So summer is here, and that is barbecue season. Well, we live in Kansas City, so it's barbecue season 24/7, 365, 366 in a leap year. But this is a little bit different. This just isn't you going to Gates Barbecue to get the best barbecue in the world. This is also you grilling for your family. So whether you're throwing a couple hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill or really you getting down on the grill, you got some fish, you got some salmon, you got some seafood going out there, you got some steaks. You want to make sure that you got the right sauces and seasoning. So you know Gates has got you covered. Whether you stop by any of the Area 5 locations or the next time you go to the grocery store, you got to make sure for your cookout, your barbecue, you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates sauce, and you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates seasoning. Or maybe you have no clue how to grill, but you know what you can do. You can swipe your debit card and go buy some of the best barbecue. So stop by any one of the Area 5 locations and pick up those classic Gates menu items, whether it's the beef on bun, heavy on the sauce with the fries and the strawberry pop. Maybe you go get the Gates mixed plate. Maybe you go get yourself a half slab of ribs. Maybe you're getting a platter because you're having a watch party as the basketball season is coming to a close. Whatever your barbecue needs are, whether you're throwing something on the grill or simply want something to eat, Telling you, Gates has you taken care of at any one of your Area 5 locations. Check out the website, gatesbbq.com. They got you taken care of all summer at Gates Barbecue.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com. 0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. That's right, 0% APR for 5 full years on both Nissan Rogue and Pathfinders. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months or 3.49% APR for 84 months. Bought your last car for 6, 7, even 8% interest? Trade it in, drive off in a brand new Nissan, and lower your monthly payment. Plus, get up to $6,000 rebate on Nissan Frontiers. No one in Kansas City has a better selection. Visit Reiselman.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If Twisted Tea was your best friend, they'd start a dance party in the supermarket that turns into a pool party at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea is smooth, refreshing, and always fun. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Save $100 on the Craftsman V26 Tool Power Tool Combo Kit, now at $199. No matter what the project is, Craftsman's high-quality, high-performance products empower you to build on. Stop by your nearest Lowe's store and check out the full line of Craftsman tools today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
You know that arguing about Mike Evans is actually one of my favorite things to do. Someone texted in and said, Carrington, you have a weird obsession with Mike Evans. He is 6th in NFL history with career touchdowns, but you don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, if that's the bar that we're going to use, there are only 5 quarterbacks in NFL history who have thrown more touchdown passes than Phillip Rivers. There are 5 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL who have more passing yards than Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is also 9th all-time in quarterback wins. Do you think that Phillip Rivers is an all-time quarterback? I imagine the answer for many of you is going to be no. I think Mike Evans, kind of like Phillip Rivers, is the beneficiary of playing in the right time. And the only difference between Phillip Rivers and Mike Evans is one of them got to play with Tom Brady. The other one didn't. That's my argument on Mike Evans. I'm always down to argue Mike Evans, no, is not a Hall of Famer. He's a very good receiver. Nothing wrong with Mike Evans. He's been very productive for a very long time. His fantasy football numbers are not impressing me, not Hall of Fame-wise, not when we saw him play during the same time as Calvin Johnson, not when we saw him play during the same era as Larry Fitzgerald. He's never been Justin Jefferson. He's never been Jamar Chase. I don't even know if his ceiling was as high as Odell Beckham when he was at his absolute peak with the New York Giants. My answer on Mike Evans is no, I'm not voting for him. You can be call it a hot take, whatever. No, I don't think Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I think he is a very good wide receiver who has been a number one on a team for a long period of time. I think he is a stat compiler. We don't got to spend any time arguing about Mike Evans, but I am always down to argue about Mike Evans. Rob, we got to play the mayor of Kansas City. He was on the show earlier today. It was a very good interview. I would highly encourage you to check it out. Before we do that, I want to talk about the Royals, and I want to talk about the Royals because of this. Sometimes you can be too close to a situation to be objective. Every year in the NFL, we pick a team that we think is going to miss the playoffs because we think that their numbers were inflated the year before. A lot of people are going to feel that way about the Broncos coming up in a couple of weeks, and I can't tell them that they're wrong. I mean, the Broncos' last 6 wins last season were against a Chiefs team that quit, the Indianapolis Colts, a team that picked in the top 10, Cleveland picked in the top 10, Vegas picked in the top 10, Atlanta, I believe they picked in the top 10, and Carolina. Those were the last 5 wins. A Chiefs team that packed it in and was ready for the postseason, and then 4 below-average football teams. The Broncos largely made the playoffs last year because of the schedule. And you don't got to apologize for that. That's the NFL. You don't control the schedule. It's an algorithm. But I'm guessing if we turned on Denver Sports Talk, everybody's real excited about the Broncos this year. And they should be. I'm not telling you shouldn't be excited about your team. Hey, we made the playoffs last year. We feel like we got a young, talented quarterback. The Broncos could be a team that takes a step forward. I'm looking at the Royals. I think there's a lot of similarities between them. Last year, the Royals played the White Sox 13 times. They went 12-1 against the White Sox. They were below 500 against everybody else in baseball. The Royals, when not playing the White Sox, were kind of what they are now, an average baseball team. They just happened to be in the right division last year. And you don't apologize for that. You're in the right division. You made the postseason. You won a series in the playoffs. And sure, exciting. This year, I'm guessing, in Seattle, in Cleveland, in other playoff markets or teams that had dreams of it, they were kind of looking at the Royals as a team that was primed to make a regression. They were looking at the Royals as a team that was primed to take a step back. I'll tell you guys right now, I feel that way about the Commanders coming into this year. Look at that Commander schedule. I mean, they won 1 game by a Hail Mary. They kind of got fortunate enough to go to the NFC Championship game. Their quarterback just played absolutely perfect last year. Everybody's going to be high on the Commanders. I will not be high on the Commanders this year because I believe in regression. What if we all were just too close to the situation to see that the regression was clearly going to happen for the Royals? I mean, last year went as perfect as it could possibly go for Cole Reagans. It went as perfect as it could possibly go for Seth Lugo. We might look at last year, Bobby Wood Jr., hey, that might be the best season of his career. I mean, he was really, really good last year. Salvador Perez, that might be his last great season. Vinny Pasquantino was in line to be one of the best young power hitters in baseball before the injury happened. A lot of things kind of came together for the Royals at the right, perfect time that helped them make the playoffs and really come out of nowhere. This is something that we talk about all the time in the NFL. This is the thing. This is the topic. What team do you think that was in last place can now turn around and win their division? We're going to have this discussion across Sports Talk at some point in July. Well, last year, that answer was simple. It was the Royals. The Royals were the team that was in last place that came out of nowhere to make the postseason. It's kind of hard to do that 2 years in a row, where I think this offseason, there are reasons to kind of have some questions about the Royals offense. And I don't think any of us wanted to hear those. They went out and they got Jonathan India. Of course, Witt's going to be the exact same player this year. Vinny's going to come back healthy. Salvy's got 1, maybe 2 more years in the sunshine, and he's going to be a great player. Guys are going to take this big step forward. I mean, we're sitting here. We're almost at the halfway point. Their offense it has not changed really at any point. This team is taking on a lot of water. I'm not here to sound doom and gloom, but I also understand how you guys think. And I'm telling you right now, if the Royals get swept by the Yankees and they lose a weekend series to the Athletics at the Crib, you guys will be ready for Chiefs offseason hypotheticals on Monday morning. I'm telling you, the first syllable that you hear from Bob Fesco, hey, we don't want to hear about that baseball team anymore. They're cooked. they're done. This feels like a very important stretch for the Royals. In a video game analogy, their life bar is flashing. They need a mushroom. They need a star. They need something. This is a team that has not been able to score really at any point this season. They are currently in the stretch of being 10-18 in their last 28 games. And we're heading into the dead of summer where people start to take vacations, and football, I'm telling you, will look up and football will be here before you know it. You take 2 vacations, 4th of July is here, you look up and the Chiefs are in St. Joe. The Chiefs are going to dominate that conversation. The Royals, it feels like they are heading towards another danger zone where they just need something to happen good. They need to go on a stretch where they win 5 of 7. They need a reason to get you back energized and believing in this team. And more than just calling up Jack Caglione, they don't have any more cards to pull. This is it. You're not being excited about Carter Jensen coming up. This is their team for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Are they going to be a team that's a buyer? Are they going to be a team a seller? Are they going to be a team that really excites you for the rest of the summer? That feels like that's potentially in danger. You got something, Rob? My bad. Okay, my apologies. My bad. I thought you had something there. You look like you had a deep thought. I want to play this for you. This is Mayor Quentin Lucas. He was on the show earlier today. We asked him his reaction to the stadium funding bill.
The work of the Missouri legislature just 2 days ago that was passing the Show Me Sports Investment Act, allowing for Missouri through concrete funds to support up to 50% of stadium construction costs, unlike Kansas, where you have speculative bonds that are not state-backed. This, I think, already makes a huge difference. You'll have local engagement, the city of Kansas City largely working with the Royals, Jackson County working with the Chiefs. I think what this tells us, at least, is that this ongoing saga will not go on forever, and more than anything, that I think what the teams have been looking for is a good, fair offer from the state of Missouri, very responsible to our taxpayers, and the sort of thing that says that we can, I think, wrap this up in days and weeks rather than having months and years ahead where we keep talking about all of it.
All right, let's talk about this from the Royals' perspective, because it sounds like, just based on what you said, you guys are working directly with the Royals to try to get this done. Is there a chance that this goes to a vote, or do you guys think that you'll be able to come up with the money or move some things around where in a couple of days we will hear an announcement, or in a couple of weeks we'll hear an announcement that the city and the Royals are working together to build a stadium in downtown Kansas City?
Look, ultimately it's a decision of the Kansas City Royals, but I can tell you right now, Kansas City already has an offer and a package, particularly with state support, that lays out how the Royals, through incentives, through existing approaches that we have now and existing financing, is able to support the construction of a downtown baseball stadium. I respect the people. We will have public hearings till the cows come home, but because this is not a sales tax, because this is not a new tax, this is the sort of thing that doesn't actually have to go to a vote. And I don't say that to avoid any engagement publicly, but just in the same way that in Kansas they passed star bonds of the legislature that did not go to a vote of the people of the whole state of Kansas. Just like in Missouri, they just passed the Show Me Sports Investment Act. Kansas City, because we're the largest city in the region, because we're the flagship brand of the region, have abilities through our size, through our experience to build big things. Just like we did with CPKC Stadium, we can get this stadium done. And I think this is the sort of thing where we can say we can get it done with some signatures on paper rather than going through a long, drawn-out further political process.
How open are the Royals to this? Because at least in the Missouri Senate in the special session, they did not want to commit to building a stadium in Missouri. Are they still very responsive to the idea of a downtown stadium?
I think I would say a few things. One, I believe they continue to be responsive to the idea of a downtown stadium. I think it's fair to say right now that the Royals are playing their options. I respect that. They're a business, and their business has got to make a plan for the future. I think what's up to us is to do two things. One, and I know there are some of the listeners who may be angry about it, big cities need to have big things, right? We do not want to live in a city where we've moved everything out of downtown. We do not want to live in a city where people aren't confident going downtown anymore. That's one reason why we make sure we have investments like the Music Hall, the Kaufman Performing Arts Center, Bartle Hall, T-Mobile Center. And I mean, my thought is if we think it's worthwhile to invest in us being able to see Celine Dion downtown, I want to invest in seeing Bobby Witt 81 nights a year. And I think that just makes good economic sense. I think the second point in connection with all of this is that right now, Kansas City is fully committed behind this. Earlier this week, you saw a comment from the new city manager in the Kansas City Star connecting with our engagement and our interest. I think you are seeing a full and consistent approach from Kansas City agencies. And I will note this distinction. The Missouri legislature, lots of the discussion was about what will Jackson County do or not do. And we can talk about them with the Chiefs in just a second. I think Kansas City gets this deal done, and I think the Royals understand that Kansas City, matched with the state of Missouri and the resources that we have, that looks to help fund a large part of the stadium responsibly for our taxpayers, is how we can get beyond this issue and build a new stadium and hopefully have a press conference sometime soon.
Right now, we're joined by the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quinton Lucas. Do you guys have an idea from a financial perspective what you guys are willing to commit to this? We have a concrete number from the state of Missouri based on the passing of this bill. Do you guys have an idea in terms of numbers what Kansas City is willing to commit to the Royals to keep them on this side of state line?
You know, we do, and I think we've shared this before. We think that there are at least several $100 million in potential redirections, infrastructure funds, and others that Kansas City, Missouri can build out that help support the Royals project. I'll also note this about Kansas City, Missouri, as unique from other jurisdictions all around the region. We have infrastructure, we have public transit, we have parking garages adjacent to the site. And so rather than building something new or tearing down half of a city that you might see in proposals in other places, instead of stealing tax incentives off of already existing entertainment districts, and for my friends in Kansas, instead of filling up 119th Street and Knoll, which already have more than enough traffic, we have, I think, a build-out that works. I will note, downtown Kansas City is designed already to get large numbers of people to and from downtown each and every day. So downtowns were created. So it makes, to me, common sense based on just the zoning, the planning, the way an area is built out. It makes common sense on the financing, and we'll make sure we share that with the Royals. I think the position we are in now, and I think we have heard lots of irresponsible discussion over the past year, this turns to the Royals making a choice. Do you want a blue suit, or I think they'll make a choice whether they want another suburban site. They're already in one now. Mind you, do they want a new one with more things around it for now, and to make what I think would be more of a 20-year decision? Or do they want to do something that is foundational, changes downtown Kansas City, and I think changes the team for the better for generations to come?
I know you've seen the story by now, and maybe you knew about it before it hit the timeline, or maybe you didn't. When you heard about the site at 119th and Knoll and the financial commitment that the Royals have made to purchasing that site, do you guys see that as a real threat, or did you guys see that as a bluff to potentially get things moving on the Missouri side?
Well, if the Royals it's an option for those who aren't in the world of contracts. People purchase options all the time, but it means as though that they don't have to buy it long term. They were trying to enhance, I think, their hand in dealing with whomever and whatever jurisdictions that they may be considering things with. What I understand and what I believe from the Royals is this. Since about, 2021, 2022, they have been talking about downtown baseball. They've been talking about downtown baseball because it is something special in America. People talk about Fenway Park. People talk about urban facilities, even ones that aren't in core downtown areas, but are in cores of cities surrounded by a lot of stuff, Wrigley Field. What they don't talk about is, hey, let's move the Cubs to Naperville, even if that makes sense and there's a mall across the street. So, look, there are decisions to be made. There are different teams that have taken different approaches. Metro Atlanta is something that's raised a lot, but I'll note in Atlanta, traffic's awful. It's a metro of 6 million people, about 500,000 of whom live in the city of Atlanta. It's a very different space. In Kansas City, we still go downtown for lots of things. I think most Kansas Cityans are happy downtown has vastly improved since the year 2000. And so I think the Royals have a clear path in front of them. And at this point, money and issues and political will is no longer an impediment in making sure they can get things done.
Right now, we're talking to the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quinton Lucas, joining us on the show today to talk about the special stadium bill that was just passed in Missouri. So you mentioned that the city of Kansas City is having the conversations with the Kansas City Royals. Let's talk about the Chiefs side of it. Are you confident in Jackson County to get this done? Because there's one person, I'm not going to mention his name, nobody seemed to think that he is helping the proceedings. And then another person who was very public in all of this, every time I look on the news, he is not in the news for what his job is actually related to. Do you guys trust Jackson County to handle their end of the bargain when it comes to the Chiefs?
I am going to take a line from Congressman Emanuel Cleaver and say I'm praying for everybody. And I think what my answer will be is very simply this. It's common sense. If you are somebody who represents all of Jackson County, and if you're somebody who thinks about all of Jackson County, Do you want a giant donut hole at the Truman Sports Complex? And right now I'm thinking about the folks in Lee Summit, Blue Springs, Raytown, Independence, everybody who's east of the stadium. The balance of how things go in our region, there's a lot of stuff downtown. There's increasingly stuff in Kansas. You have to have something that is in central or eastern Jackson County. The Chiefs are laying out that path. Arrowhead Stadium is that path. It continues to give energy, attention, investment to Arrowhead and the area around it. And frankly, I think if you look at Green Bay and other stadiums that are similarly situated, football and Gillette Stadium up in Boston, football is the sort of thing that can support a good build-out near it. It's not used all the time, but team Hall of Fames are what Green Bay has done. A conference center is something they've done up there. Gillette Stadium, similarly. I think this is the sort of thing where common sense prevails. There are a lot of dramas, intrigues, political discussions, all of that every day in county government. I'm not going to speak to any of that. What I will speak to is it makes sense. If you're somebody who's elected to represent Raytown, Independence, if you're somebody who's thinking about the future of Lee Summit, do you want something important for the region, vital, central to the region, closer to those suburbs, or do you want to move it 35 minutes away? To me, that answer's clear.
Last thing here, are you confident that we are coming to the end of this thing? I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. The citizens on both sides of state line, I think, are tired of the back and forth, tired of the discussion, and simply want the teams to come to a conclusion and let us know where the future of the Royals and Chiefs is going to be. Are you confident that we are close to the end of this? I mean, I'm looking at the Star Bond expiring date in Kansas. That's coming up in less than 3 weeks from now. So if they maintain that we're not pushing it back, well, that offer is going to expire here in less than 3 weeks. Are you confident that we are toward the end of this conversation, that at some point in the next 3 weeks, we have a clear picture of what the Chiefs and Royals are going to do?
Short answer, yes. I think we are coming to an end, thankfully. Second point on that is this. If for whatever reason, I've said this all along, if for whatever reason they negotiate in a long length with either jurisdiction, and for some reason it doesn't work out, you're telling me that if the Chiefs say, yeah, we're going to try to go ahead and build Arrowhead 2.0, and we're going to do all this work, and it's going to be out at Truman Sports Complex, it's going to work, and then somehow it doesn't work out, and they call Kansas the next day, and they say, hey, are you going to work with us? You don't think they're going to answer the call? And I'll be a big kid about it. If the Royals tomorrow say, yeah, we're going to build the suburban Superdome at the Sprint campus, they'll be like, odd, be disappointed. But if they came back months later and said, all right, we want to talk to Kansas City because it turns out downtown works, then, yeah, you can come back. I say all that to suggest the following. This is time for a decision to be made. I think it's time for everybody to move. And I don't think it is the sort of thing where you cross the Rubicon and you can't necessarily go back. So I think that I stand in this situation, I don't do every day, with the Kansas Republican leaders who are saying, yeah, let's get this done by June 30th. I'm with them. I think Kansas City has put a great deal forward. I think it only makes sense in Jackson County to move ahead, no matter the politics or the people involved. And I think the teams recognize that. And they recognize you want to be in jurisdictions that have done this before. You know, one thing that's not talked about with the stadium projects and other jurisdictions that the Royals could go, how do you even handle the zoning? What do the people think? What's going to happen? You're going to demolish half of North Kansas City? You're going to bulldoze through Public Common and Overland Park? There's a lot of steps there. Downtown makes sense to a man and woman, every person saying, all right, I at least get that. I understand the people that are never leave Kaufman folks, but I think there is a clear message here. There is clear monetary support, and I hope there's a clear answer coming up.
That was the mayor of Kansas City. He was on the show earlier today. If you missed any part of that conversation, I would highly encourage you to check it out on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. I mean, they're probably telling the truth that we are almost done, that this is almost over. But at this point, honestly, I don't know if I believe them anymore. It's like when you're sitting on the bed and you're just messing around on your phone and you're waiting for your wife to just you're ready to go. You're hungry. You got reservations. Oh, I'm almost done. I don't know if I believe you. You told me that 45 minutes ago, and yet you haven't. You haven't put on makeup yet. We still got a ways to go until we're done. I mean, they keep saying, "Oh man, we're almost done." Okay, we'll see. I'm not very hopeful, not very optimistic. We are off early today because of the Royals. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is actually Alex Gordon Day out at Kauffman Stadium. They are putting him inside the Royals Hall of Fame. We'll catch you tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Until then, keep it locked in. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck?